How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.
voice inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? I'm burning in the Soviet. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the Soviet. This is the final time. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the Soviet. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the Soviet. This is the final
All right. Hey guys, what's up? I usually don't stream on Sunday, and I really wasn't planning on streaming on Sunday. I got up, I got myself a gyro, and I was hanging out, and I was, looking at some stuff on the Twitters, as I normally do on a Sunday. And I saw some of this stuff last night, and I started watching it again today. And I have to say, I'm just kind of like, Now I'll tell you on the hang on a sec. Hang on. Where's my book? Hang on 1 second. Need to get my book. My big ass communism book that sits next to my desk, but do you know what it's gonna do? My microphone's gonna sit on top of the book. That's what's gonna happen right now. So I can actually have my microphone near my mouth. Because I just got a new microphone and all the anyway, you don't need to worry about that. What you do need to worry about is that we're gonna have a lot of people like Susan here on the channel today. I suspect we're gonna be getting a lot of whiners in the chat, like Susan on the channel today. And we're just gonna address this off the bat. No, criticizing Israel does not make you an anti-Semite, you retarded fucking midwit. I'm confused with the title. Is she calling Zionists good or Zionist traitors? Well, the title of the stream is Watching Israel First Traitor Zionists at Republican Jewish Coalition. And so I don't exactly know how I'm being I don't exactly know how I'm being confusing. Watching Israel First Traitor Zionists at the Republican I think I'm being extremely clear. I think I'm being, my original title, the original title that I had in mind was going to be something like watching Mark Levin get down on his knees to suck off Bibi Netanyahu. That was the original title I was thinking about. I thought, maybe Karlyn, maybe that's a bit much. It is Sunday. It is the Lord's Day. Maybe we shouldn't be talking about getting, or Republican congressmen getting on their knees to suck off the Prime Minister of Israel. Maybe we shouldn't be doing that. So I held back and I just said, watching Israel First Traitor Zionists at the Republican Jewish Coalition, which still gets the point across that, yeah, I do believe these people are traitors to America. Yeah, I do believe these people are Israel First. And we're going to get some people like Susan in here today. And Susan's going to go, for fuck's sake, an anti-Semite. I'm not Israel First, but this won't be my crowd. National divorce will come. I hope you stand with America, abolish Islam and illegals, and then you can have your no Jew state. Well, no, Susan. In fact, I can't. You want to know why? Because abolishing Islam is not going to lead to a no Jew state. Deporting illegals out of the country is not going to lead to a no Jew state. And I don't even care. And listen, and to be really clear about this, I don't care if there are Jews in America. There are Jews in America there are many Jews in America who I have absolutely no problem with. Orthodox Jews, I generally actually get along with Orthodox Jews just fine. You want to know why? Because Orthodox Jews are not Zionists. And actually, I hate to be this, cliche about it, but I do actually have Jewish friends. And most of my Jewish friends don't give a flying, ever-loving fuck that I do not want America to support Israel. I do not want Israel to have a disproportional impact or really any impact on American politics. I do not want us sending billions and billions and billions of dollars a year to Israel. I do not want Republican influencers and politicians and commentators threatening to deplatform people for saying, fuck Israel. You know what is the most un-American thing I can think of? And Susan, don't worry about it because I'm permanently banning you from the channel. You're not allowed to be here anymore because fuck you. You know what I actually find most offensive over the clips I saw? And we're going to watch the speech. First of all, one in the chat, and actually, thank you. Let me do the proper thing and acknowledge Brian. Brian gifting 10 channel memberships. Let's see who got one of Brian's generous gifts. Dana got one, Cat Mama, Christy got one. Mass Genocide, Tex, Jen, Jared, Callie, White Mike, appropriate, Dean Crane, congrats to everyone who got a gifted channel membership, I appreciate that. But do you know what I find just completely, and almost, uncompromisingly fucking offensive? Do you know what I find offensive? Did anyone see, one in the chat, if you saw a clip of Mark Levin's speech at the conference that we're going to watch? 2 in the chat if you have not seen what Mark Levin said at this conference. What is the thumbnail? It's me rolling my eyes. The Lord works in mysterious ways. The universe is winking at us at all times. So most of you haven't. The thing that got me to want to sit down and watch some of these speeches was seeing Mark Levin call for the deplatforming and censorship of anyone who doesn't support Israel. I'm sorry. If your big plan as an extremely influential Republican is that you are going to call for the deplatforming and censorship of any American who doesn't support Israel, you are a traitor motherfucker. You are a treasonous fucking shill who should be deported immediately, Mark Levin. When you declare war on the American people if they don't support your favorite foreign power, literally go fuck yourself. So yesterday was Socialist Saturday and today's Christian Saturday. Yep. Welcome, Amalek. I'm glad you could drop by as usual. So we're going to watch a couple speeches from this conference, but I want to just show you guys. The Jews and the Republicans are so teed off about the Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes interview that they basically had a whole event just to respond to the Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes interview. When I said that Nick Fuentes is the most influential person in conservative politics, what I meant is the Jewish Zionist traitor fucking Republicans and all of their Christian supporters had an entire fucking conference because they're pissed off that Tucker Carlson had a 2-hour conversation with Nick Fuentes that, quite frankly, if you actually listen to the conversation, wasn't even that controversial in the first place. And so there were signs at this conference. Tucker is not MAGA. Brandon Tatum, this fucking low IQ retard, gave an entire speech about how Tucker Carlson is definitely, totally, absolutely not MAGA. And you know what? Listen, there's been a lot of talk on Twitter lately about coming from the Zionist retards saying, I don't want to unify with anyone who is not a Zionist. Well, guess what? I will not unify with any of these people, just to be perfectly clear. I am not on the same side as these people. I do not support these people. I think these people must be defeated. I think these people must be driven into the fucking sea. All of them. I think they should all be fucking deported to Israel. If you want to put Israel before America, go live there, motherfucker. Not a Panda over on Rumble says, I can handle tanky Marxist psychobabble. I don't know if I'm ready for rhinos. Yeah, this is going to be a real test, guys. This is going to be a real test. We can watch socialism for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours a day. But can we watch the Zionist Israel first cuck Republicans? That is the question. That is the challenge that we have before us on this Sunday. Well, I guess it's Sunday afternoon. I didn't get up until 2 p.m., so I don't know. It kind of still feels like morning to me. I mean, I'm even just drinking a cup of coffee here. I might need as many as several cups of coffee to get through this stream. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sit back, and I'm gonna do some knitting, and we're gonna watch this here conference, and we're gonna see what was said. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So let's see. Should we start with, let me know. Let me put a poll in the chat on YouTube. Sorry, Rumble. I can only do this on YouTube. No, I just want to put a poll in the chat. Hang on. Which first? Tatum or Levin? Okay, here's the question, guys. Here's the question. Which speech should we watch first? Should we watch Brandon Tatum talking about how Tucker Carlson is not MAGA? Or should we watch Mark Levin calling for the censorship and deplatforming of Americans who do not support Israel? Port Apply Seeker, I see your vote has been registered. I put a poll in the chat on YouTube, and we're going to see what you guys want to do first. As a reminder, guys, please make sure you mount the like button for me if you would be so kind. If you don't feel like mounting the like button because you and the like button just met, you can give the like button a high five. You can hold the like button's hand. You can give the like button a kiss on the cheek. You can give the like button a slap on the ass. You can choke out the like button if you want. You can bend the like button over and do whatever you want to it. Whatever you want to do. The like button doesn't really care, but I just need everyone to do something to the like button, because the more people who do something to the like button, the more people who are going to come and join us. Now, here's the other thing, too. I'm about to have a lot of people unsubscribing from my channel, because there are a lot of retard conservatives who really do believe that we are obligated to support Israel over everything else, because those conservatives have been brainwashed by conservative media to believe that Islam and China are our biggest enemies, and the only way we can defeat Israel and China is by sending all our money to Israel. So I'm about to have a lot of people unsubscribe from my channel because they're going to be pissed off at me for doing this. So if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, and you are on board with the whole idea of Americans should not support a foreign power over Americans, hey, maybe you want to subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and counterbalance all the retard Zionist, just freaking crazy people that are going to be like, unsubscribe. And then they're going to call me all sorts of names and stuff like that. They're going to smear me on Twitter. They're going to do whatever they want to do. So if you want to counterbalance that and you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do that. Oh, the Bible says so? Well, does it? Does it really? But does it, though? All right, let's see. Who are you guys voting for? It is actually a fairly close race. Last chance to vote. Who are we watching first? Are we watching Brandon Tatum talk about how Tucker Carlson is really not MAGA? Or are we watching Mark Levin call for the censorship and deplatforming of Americans? Now, we're going to watch both speeches. Don't get it twisted. We're not choosing one or the other. We're just choosing who we watch first. So last chance to vote. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brandon Tatum it is. You guys want to watch the stupid black man calling Tucker Carlson a traitor? That's cool. That's cool. It's not cool that he did that. Brandon Tatum's a freaking, can we even call Brandon Tatum a midwit? Can we even call Brandon Tatum a midwit? Does Brandon Tatum rise to the level of being a midwit? I don't even know. But he sure is cashing those $7,000 Israel checks lately with all the posts he's making about it. Anyway, I am still sick, of course. Anyway, all right, let's get started. This is Zionist traitor cuck Brandon Tatum talking about how Tucker Carlson is not really MAGA.
How y'all doing this afternoon?
Great.
Boy, I tell you, y'all have no idea how grateful I am and how excited I am to be in a room full of sane people.
I'm gonna do a shot at Dayquil. What we're about to do.
Now, some of you guys may be on social media like I am, and you can see the lunatics. They're still saying I'm getting paid $7,000 per post. So if anybody in here know the hookup, can you hook a brother up and get me $7,000 per post, please? Get with Dylan Marks in the back. He will lead you where you need to be. But I'm excited because I think it's a calling on all of us to stand up with the relationship that we have with the state of Israel.
Why?
And our Jewish brothers and sisters. I am
Why?
the most excitable person when it comes to this topic. And
Why on earth would a black cop be the most excited person about supporting Israel? Why? What? Why? Could it be that Israel's putting money in his pocket to do that?
I will stand with my Jewish brothers and sisters to the very end.
Yeah, okay.
And one of the reasons that I have this fervor and this excitement is because I actually read my Bible.
Oh.
I know what God has said.
Amalek, you need to clip that immediately. Let's just play that again. I am so excited about supporting the state of Israel because I read my Bible.
One of the reasons that I have this fervor and this excitement is because I actually read my Bible. I know what God has said. I know what the principles of God mean to people like me as a Christian. And we have to stand by those principles to the very end. And I'm gonna say this, because I know a lot of you guys in here are bold and courageous, but this is the time to be more bold than ever before. Anti-Semitism in America is out of control. And it's no longer a time where you can sit back and watch others perform and watch.
Racism in America is out of control. And there's no longer a time that you can sit back and say nothing because silence equals violence. Where have I heard this before? Where have I heard this literal exact language before? Oh, wait, is this what they were saying, 5-6 years ago? Hang on, let's listen again.
But this is the time to be more bold than ever before. Anti-Semitism in America is out of control. And it's no longer a time where you can sit back and watch others perform and watch others stand up for what's right. You have to get off of your butt,
Silence
get on
is
the
violence.
online or
Silence
wherever
is
you
violence,
need to get
comrades.
and stand up for what's real and what's true. And let me say this.
Yeah, this is literally BLM.
I
Israel
will never
version.
capitulate. I will never give credence to foolish people who are anti-Semitic, who are racist, people who hate America. I will never support them. I don't care how long you've been podcasting. I don't care how many follows you got. I don't care how much money you got. When you platform somebody, bring somebody on your show and let them just dog out Jewish people, let them just dog out and say they support Stalin, I would never support you. I'm trying.
What the fuck does Stalin have to do with any of this? Not that we support Stalin, but like, what the fuck does that have to do with any of this?
I don't care how many follows you got. I don't care how much money you got. When you platform somebody, bring somebody on your show and let them just dog out Jewish people, let them just dog out and say they support Stalin, I would never support you.
Oh, Nick said he admires Stalin.
I'm trying not to get crazy in here. But we got to stop being soft on this topic. We got to stop being soft on the topic. Let me tell you what cancellation is not.
Oh.
No one cares if you own your own social media platform and you spew whatever you want to say, whether it's stupid or not. We live in America.
Really, Officer Talmud, really, because I'm pretty sure I heard Mark Levin say that he was going to cancel and deplatform anyone who said what they wanted to say on their social media. But tell us more.
Is not. No one cares if you own your own social media platform and you spew whatever you want to say, whether it's stupid or not. We live in America and people have the right to free speech, but we don't have to platform you. We don't have to let you come on our programs and say stupidity and spew stupid stuff. And for too long, I'm seeing it go on and on and on and on. I see somebody with a sign that said, Tucker is not MAGA. I guess I got to put his name out there. That's not MAGA. When you're on your platform and people are...
The gall of these people to believe that they get to decide who is and is not on a political side. Like, this is the shit that really pisses me off. These people are literally declaring themselves as the gatekeepers right in front of our very eyes. They're the ones saying, no, we are the ones who decide who is in and who is out. Like, it could not be any more clear. It could not be any more clear that these people believe that they have the power to dictate who you listen to and who you don't, and what facts you can consider and what ideas you can consider and who you can talk to and who you're not allowed to talk to. And I'm sorry, I'm old enough to remember when I left the left back in 2019/early 2020. And the reason I left the left in 2019 and early 2020 is that social justice took over my knitting community, and everyone was running around saying, you're allowed to buy this person's patterns, you're not allowed to buy this person. You're allowed to buy this person's yarn, you're not allowed to buy this person. You're allowed to say this on a website, you're not allowed to say this on a website. And then we have retards here who have actually convinced themselves I'm secret Antifa because this moron is too stupid to actually even know what's going on. Bye, bro. I'm more than happy to ban you from the channel. And it's like, we are back in 2019 all over again, except it's the fucking Republicans who are saying silence is violence. It's the fucking Republicans who are posting the Israel flag in their profile as a fucking virtue signal. It's the fucking Republicans telling us who we're allowed to talk to and who we're not allowed to talk to and what ideas we can consider and what ideas we can't consider and who's allowed to be on social media and who's not allowed to be on social media. Like, literally, go fuck yourself, motherfucker. You are at least 50 IQ points lower than me and most of the fucking people in my chat. You don't get to dictate shit to us. I literally just wanted to knit. That's all I wanted, and here I am.
Are acting as if Sharia law is better than what we have here in America and the laws that are given to us by God through faith. You're a silly person. If you are out here and you don't know whether or not Hamas...
Hang on, we got a super chat. Thank you. People in costume are called wannabes. Their job is to distract and get arrested to allow the Antifa devotees to attack. So real. I appreciate it.
Hamas is a terrorist organization or a political organization. You are a foolish person. And since I'm already name dropping, everybody saw that interview. You have a guy say that he supports Stalin and that he was a big fan of Stalin on your show.
He doesn't support
Stalin. You can have him on the show.
He doesn't support fucking
But
communism.
doggone it, you better push back on people like that. There's no way you can say that
you
you're
don't
a
get
Christian.
to dictate what other
There's no
people
way you
do,
can say
bro.
you believe in God and you support a person like Joseph Stalin, who did not believe in God, who killed so many people. Enough is enough. We're not putting up with it anymore. And I stand by our president. That's the reason why I voted for him, because he's a man of integrity. He's a man that stands on principles. And he's a man that's going to be true to what he said. Now, you can decide whether you like what he said or not, but you can guarantee that he's going to stand on what he said. And this is why I love Donald Trump. And when I watch Donald Trump and I see him with Bibi Netanyahu, I see people that operate in reality. The reality is that Israel is one of our greatest allies. And for people to think otherwise, you fall in one of two categories. You're either ignorant or you simply hate Jews. Quit lying to yourself. Quit trying to cover. You just hate Jews.
If you don't want to send Israel all our money, then you are literally an anti-Semite and you hate all Jews. Is there a more retard take than that? Hey, thanks, Doug, for gifting the 5 channel memberships. Who got a channel membership? Let's see. Good Boy got one, Bueno got one, Cuffed got one, Lori got one, and Conrad got one. Congrats to everyone who got a channel membership. Hey, just so you guys know, we are going to be doing movie night in my supporter Discord at 8 p.m. tonight. We are going to be watching Reservoir Dogs in my supporter Discord. If you've never seen Reservoir Dogs, it's awesome. I will be posting a link to join the supporter Discord out to all YouTube channel members, also Substack supporters. And if you support on Locals, Patreon, or Twitter and you want to come, just let me know. I will get you the link as well. And all people who are supporters or channel members are welcome to come to movie night. We do movie nights every Sunday and Monday night in my supporter Discord. And I'm really looking forward to Reservoir Dogs tonight. I got to be honest with you. So if you're a paying supporter on my Substack or my YouTube channel, you'll find a link posted there sometime in the next couple hours or so. And I hope you'll be able to join us for movie night tonight.
Just say it. I don't want to hear I'm just asking questions no more.
People are allowed to ask questions.
Asking questions mean you do your research first before you put something out into the atmosphere.
No, it actually doesn't, you fucking moron. Asking a question means asking a question. You don't do your research before you ask the question. You are asking the question. Like, this is the level of fucking stupidity. He's like, you shouldn't even be allowed to ask questions. You need to go do all your research, and then maybe you can ask the right questions. You're only allowed to ask the right questions, and the right questions are the ones that support Israel. Hey, thanks, Coffee Addiction. I appreciate you. This is like, I can't even.
You just hate Jews. Just say it. I don't want to hear I'm just asking questions no more. You're not just asking questions. Asking questions mean you do your research first before you put something out into the atmosphere. It's not asking questions to make accusations. If you somehow think the Jews run the world, you are a fool.
Oh, yeah?
If you somehow
Why?
think that Bibi Netanyahu runs Donald Trump, you are a fool.
How many times has Bibi Netanyahu visited the White House since Donald Trump got inaugurated? Did we or did we not go bomb Iran on behalf of Israel? How many times has Bibi Netanyahu addressed Congress since Trump got inaugurated? How many other world leaders have had as much access to Trump as Bibi Netanyahu? I'm just asking questions here.
Donald Trump don't even run Donald Trump. That inner voice in his head that's saying, don't tweet that, don't do that. He like, whatever. I love you, Trump, if you're watching this. I'm just making a joke. Y'all better put a monitor here because I'm going to talk for 35 minutes. But I'm so passionate about this, and it really changed my perspective because I need to give you guys a little background here.
Oh, yeah?
I'm a young guy from Fort Worth, Texas.
You're not that
Never
young,
went outside of Fort Worth a day in my life growing up. We didn't even go to Dallas. Some of you in Texas, we were in Fort Worth. We never even went to Dallas. Dallas was it was a travel for us.
That's actually
And then I got
That's
older,
crazy.
went to the University of Arizona, but I had never left the United States of America. I was ignorant.
And
I'm gonna be
you
embarrassed to
still
say
are.
this, but don't judge me, okay? God still loves me, okay? When I was asked, I wasn't really asked, it was Pastor Alan Jackson was going to Israel, and I had never been out of the country, and I said, of course I would love to go with you. I would love to go where Jesus was and all the great things that as Christians we love about Israel. And so when I decided to go, I didn't know anything really about Israel. I used to think that Israel was like a third world country. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was like Afghanistan and all these other places. I'm telling the truth, can I be honest? I get on the plane, we land, and I'm blown away. I'm like, oh my God, look at these freeways. Look at this innovation. It's clean, it's peaceful. We went all the way up from Tiberias, all the way down to the Dead Sea. I mean,
Do you know why that is, Officer Talmud? Do you know why Israel is so amazing? Because America sends them all our fucking money. America pays for all that shit. Why are we paying for another country to be oh so fucking amazing?
it blew my mind. And that's not even adding into the connection with all of the things that the Bible had prophesied about that you could see in the flesh right there in Israel. And we were on the Sea of Galilee, the Mount of Beatitudes, all the Christian sites, because as a Christian, that means so much to me. And when I left, I remember thinking, man, I love this place. I love the energy in this place. I see why in America we partner with a democracy like Israel. And it changed me.
Fucking
and
gross.
therefore, after that, I'm like, man, I'm the biggest fan of Israel. Then I started doing research and I started realizing our true connection that's beyond just the religious connection, the Judeo-Christian values, beyond that. The connection that we have geopolitically, the connection that we have when we share intelligence, and all of the great things that all of y'all in here already know. Somehow these people are just losing their mind and they forget about these things. But all of those things and all of the connections make me love Israel. And then October the 7th happened. And I was
when
so
Israel
upset
murdered its own people.
because good, innocent people
Hey, Brian.
were killed.
Thanks for being a member of the channel.
I've
Appreciate
interviewed
you, bro.
since people who were hostage or who were held hostage for 490 days.
Yeah.
People in
yeah,
the IDF.
Exactly. Bro visited
And I don't want to relive
Jewish
this for you, but
Wakanda. Exactly.
it was a moment that made me so upset and angry because I can see a very similar, I have a very similar feeling that if that happened to America, how would I feel? And the first thing that came out of my mouth, and y'all keep praying for me, I said, I want them to turn that place into a parking lot.
Oh, that's real nice, bro. That's real Christian right there.
I gotta preface it.
Listen to
'cause
that.
Somebody gonna clip this and put it on the internet.
Listen to the fucking cheers in the crowd. This is what is so fucking disgusting about these people daring to call themselves fucking Christians. Well, of course they're Christian because Christianity comes from Judaism. But like, this is what's so like. My first thought was he should turn Gaza into a fucking parking lot. Yeah, in the crowd. It's like, shut the fuck up. You fucking, like, toxic motherfuckers.
If that happened to America, how would I feel? And the first thing that came out of my mouth, and y'all keep praying for me, I said, I want them to turn that place into a parking lot.
That's fucking
I gotta preface it, because somebody gonna clip this and put it on the internet. Not because of the Palestinian people per se, individual people, but because if you dare to do such an atrocity to people that I love, people that I respect, people that are chosen by God, you decide to do something like that, you should never have an opportunity to do it again. And it should be an example to everybody in the world that if you ever...
So Officer Talmadge believes in collective punishment, and he believes in killing as many fucking Palestinians as possible for his blood lust. So Christian to have that much blood lust. I mean, silly me. I mean, listen, I'm not a Christian. I haven't read the Bible in a real long time or nothing. But I thought that Jesus told us to love everyone. I thought that we were supposed to love everyone. And this asshole is so unchristlike and doesn't even believe his own fucking books that he has such bloodlust that he wants the entire fucking, like, he wants all of Gaza leveled and all of those people, women, children, murdered to satisfy him. Doesn't seem very Christ-like to me.
Think about trying something like this, your country will cease to exist.
Wow.
Boy, if I was the prime minister, ooh, it's 48 hours. Give me 48 hours. And so it enraged me. And then I said my statement. I thought that most people in America were thinkers and had common sense. Well, shockingly enough, I was wrong, because after I said it, we see all this anti-Semitism popping up. We see mindless people on campus wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I called for the murder of everyone in Gaza, and then people got really mad and started being anti-Semitic. Gee, I wonder why that happened.
getting no real education, and they're out here talking about from the river to the sea and don't even know which river it is. You got people out here saying death to Jewish people and gays for Palestine.
Queers for Palestine, you midwit fucking moron. I became a Christian at 30, and there are so many people like that. Then there weren't one very reasons that I didn't believe in anything for years. It's poison, and it totally turns you away. There are a lot of poisonous Christians in the world, I'll tell you that. And by the way, listen, I think that Christian is a fake religion that the Jews use to control the non-Jewish people. But if you're a Christian, I don't actually care. You're allowed to believe in whatever you want. So I'm not throwing shade on all Christians here, but like when Christianity is used as a cop-out to support a literal genocide on an entire people because of your fucking bloodlust, I'm sorry. Again, I may not be a Christian, but I know enough to know that I'm pretty sure that's not what Christ would have condoned.
I said, I swear, I'll pay for your ticket.
I'll pay for
fly
his
you
ticket to
business
Israel.
class. I'll get you transportation, but I'm not getting you transportation back because you ain't coming back. We'll get you there since you want to be gays for Palestine, whatever that's supposed to mean. Ignorant folk
Whatever
in
that's
America
supposed to mean.
with no common sense.
Everyone in my audience is smart.
And I'm going to be quick because my time is running out. And then I saw the propaganda online where you see them, the buildings blowing up.
Pop quiz in the chat. What does Queers for Palestine mean? Let's prove that my chat is smarter than this retard. And for people who don't know what Queers for Palestine means, this will be a good learning experience for you. What does Queers for Palestine mean? It's not chickens for KFC. That's not what it means. It does actually have a meaning. Anyone who understands the left understands the meaning. Officer Talmud here does not understand the left, so he doesn't understand the meaning. What does Queers for Palestine mean, guys? It's an anti-capitalist thing. Give me more. It is anti-capitalist, but give me more. Yes, dispensationalism is a virus for sure. Indeed, indeed. Come on. I know you guys don't just say anti-capitalist, guys. Actually explain what it means. Anti-capitalist does not... Guys, if you're just saying anti-capitalist, that doesn't actually explain what it means to people who don't know. So can someone please just explain what Queers for Palestine means and not saying anti... You're not gaining any points from me by just saying anti-capitalist. I'm kind of shocked and annoyed. No one's explained it yet. I'm starting to get real annoyed that no one's actually explaining it. All right, we're just going to sit here until someone in the chat properly explains Queers for Palestine. And no one in the chat has done it yet. No, saying no one is free until everyone is free doesn't mean anything, guys. Actually fucking explain it. I need you to explain to me what Queers for Palestine means as if you were explaining it for someone who doesn't fucking know. Nope, this is let me just give you a wrong answer. This right here is a retard take. This right here is a person who doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. And so someone in my chat is going to explain what Queers for Palestine means, or we're not continuing. Someone in the chat is going to explain what Queers for Palestine means, or we are not continuing in a way that, nope, no one's doing it. I'm actually really pissed off right now. We're not moving until someone explains this. In fact, bro, you want to laugh? I'm sorry. That was such a retard take. You're now permanently banned from my channel. Nope. Okay, guys, listen. If you are using one or two words to explain what Queers for Palestine means, you're not explaining it. So, no, I need you to use proper fucking sentences. Yeah, Reagan, the pop quiz is still going because no one has actually effectively explained what Queers for Palestine means. Ah, we're starting to get close. We're starting to get closer. This is still not a proper explanation. Solidarity with Palestinians who are being oppressed by Israel. Okay, that's a half answer. That's not a full answer. I'm actually like really annoyed right now. I'm annoyed so much I'm thinking about stopping the stream. If someone doesn't explain what Queers for Palestine means effectively in the next 2 minutes, I'm ending the stream. If someone doesn't properly and succinctly explain what Queers for Palestine means in the next 90 seconds, I'm ending the stream. Waiting. Queers for Palestine is a way to say no one is free until everyone is free from the oppressive force of capitalism. They are all oppressed against capitalism. Was that so fucking hard? Was that so fucking hard? Queers for Palestine is a thing because queer theory is about the abolition of capitalism. When they're talking about normativity, normativity means the norms that uphold capitalism. Queer liberation means the annihilation of capitalism. The left believes the Palestinian people are being oppressed by the settler colonists of Israel. That is also another way of saying capitalism, because colonization. Oh, you don't care? Oh, you don't care? Oh, you just got permanently banned from my channel. I don't even care that you bought a channel membership yesterday. Permanent ban. You want to come into my chat and say you don't give a fuck about the left? You don't belong here, motherfucker. If you guys, again, we've already had a bunch of people unsubscribe from the channel already today because they're upset that I'm doing this stream. Allow me to be very clear. My job is to educate people about the far left. This channel is about educating people about the far left. If you come into my channel and you say, I don't care what the far left says, then you do not belong here and you will be permanently banned, and you can go and bitch and complain and whine somewhere else. And I don't give a flying fuck. Oh yeah, we are doing a losing sub stream today. Yes, we are doing a weeding out of the Zionists, and we are doing a weeding out of the lazy motherfuckers who were never here for the right reason in the first place. We are doing a losing sub stream, and I don't give a flying fuck how you feel about it. Let's go back to Queers for Palestine. Queers for Palestine means that queer people and Palestinians are both being oppressed by capitalism. It is an anti-capitalist argument because they want to rid the world of capitalism. In this case, Israel represents capitalism because they're the settler colonists who stole the land from the Palestinians, and queer people are in a perpetual struggle to annihilate capitalism, or the norms being the gender binary and the nuclear family that uphold the capitalist model. That is what Queers for Palestine means. If you do not understand what Queers for Palestine means, you do not understand the left at all. All right, let's continue.
And you got people running around, but for some reason the camera always know where the building is at before it gets blown up. And I said, I'm not the smartest person in the room, but
you're definitely not the smartest person in the room.
That the building is going to blow up, but nobody else know? That to me, ladies and gentlemen, is propaganda. And you see kids with dirt on their face, and then you see a kid laughing in the background on the side. You see one guy that somehow he's fathering 15
okay, so someone just DM'd me on Twitter and they said, Karlyn, the person we're watching now is Officer Tatum. No, it's not. No. We are watching Officer Talmud. We are not watching Officer Tatum. We are watching Officer Talmud because he is paid entirely by Israel to say everything that he's saying right now. So he is not Officer Tatum. He is Officer Talmud.
Families in tragedy, wearing different clothes, different family and kids. What kind of man is this? Ain't no way in the world that man is in that many tragedies. And they have been able to convince willfully ignorant folk in the West to believe that a terrorist organization is reasonable enough to give you the right numbers, to share clips that are reasonable and fair. It's asinine to me. And I went off on my social media, and I've been going off ever since, because I will not stand for this bull crap.
They're sharing clips I don't like. I will not stand
for it. And I'm gonna walk off the stage with this. I want to encourage every single person sitting in this room. Do not allow the opportunity for you to be here, for you to just be here to hug people and say hi and drink some tea or whatever you do and slap high five. When you leave here, you better leave here different than the way you came. When you leave here, you better leave here more bold, more courageous, and standing up more than you ever have before.
We will
And in
stand
the
up for
spirit
murdering women and children.
of my good friend Charlie Kirk, one of the boldest young men to ever do this. And I know many of you in here love Charlie. Many of you in here miss Charlie. But I want all of you in here to have the spirit and courage like Charlie did, to stand up and do the right thing all the time. And I want to finish it like this. God bless you. I love you too. God bless you. God bless Israel. God bless all my Jewish brothers and sisters out here. God bless America. And y'all keep fighting a good fight.
What came first in that sentence? What came first? This is the entire fucking point. What came first in that sentence? God bless Israel. God bless all of you. God bless America. It's like America is the afterthought here because the priority is fucking Israel. Is that it? Yeah, that's the end of that speech. Okay, so that's Officer Talmud basically showing us how much money he's making from Israel these days. Let's go on to Mark Levin, shall we? Let's watch Mark Levin call for the censorship of Americans that he doesn't agree with because they don't support Israel. Fox News commentator, let's see.
They tell me we're way behind.
Hang on. I got a super chat here. It's not about liking someone or not. It is about learning. Listen and learn to those you disagree with. That is all that we do on this channel, guys. We listen and learn from people we disagree with. If you can't handle listening to people you disagree with, this is probably not the place for you.
So I have 5 minutes. Just kidding. 15 minutes. So I never like to go last behind radio and TV guys. I'm not going to go through the history of Western civilization. I'm not going to go through the history of the United States. I'm not going to go through the history of Israel. That doesn't get us very far right now. I'm not going to do an after-action report either. It is my greatest hope that the people who are appearing at this wonderful organization, RJC, who've come up here and spoken to you, will do what they say they're going to do. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. For 6 months, I've been fighting these bastards, whether it's Tucker Carlson or whether it's Nick Fuentes.
Oh!
And I've been looking over my shoulder looking for help. And you know what I found? Nothing. Nothing.
I got mean replies on Twitter, and no one was there to defend me from the mean replies that I got on Twitter.
We're here today to do something about this. Now, first of all, my wife, my mother-in-law, my dear friend, Ron, Rhoda, all of you, Norm. I can't see, the lights are in my eyes. Anyway, what do you mean we don't cancel people? We canceled David Duke. Donald Trump canceled David Duke. We canceled Pat Buchanan. We canceled the John Birch Society. We canceled Joseph Sobran. We canceled pornography on TV. We cancel stuff all the damn time. Hitler admirers, Stalin admirers, Jew haters, American haters, Churchill haters. You're damn right we're going to cancel them and deplatform them. It's called the market system.
You're damn right we're going to cancel and deplatform them. Guys, I don't know how much more clear they can be. I don't know how much more clear they can be. The conservative Zionist right are no different than the woke left that so many of you have been bitching and complaining about for fucking years. They are literally no different. They want to tell you who you can talk to and who you can't talk to, and what ideas you can consider and what ideas you can't consider. They want to tell you what information you are allowed to consume. They want to tell you what jokes you're allowed to fucking tell. And if you don't bend the knee to what they want, they are going to cancel and deplatform you. They are saying it overtly. These people hate you. They hate you. They want to destroy you. And if you don't, and by the way, bending the knee to them once is never actually going to get them off your back, because once they get their way and you bend the knee to them once and you say, you know what, maybe I won't make that joke about Israel. Maybe I won't say the N-word with the hard R. Maybe I won't do any of these things. Once you bend the knee to them once, they will get you to bend the knee to them again and 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 again, because this is all about power and it's all about control. The left is no different from the right once they embrace cancel culture. They want to destroy you. They want to take away your livelihood. They want to ostracize you from society, all because you don't share their opinions. They have become the very thing they say they detest. Well, they always were. They always were. And so we need to be very, very clear that these people are not our friend. These people are not people that we want to unify with. These are not people we ever want to support. These people will, if there ever is even a temporary alliance where we say, you know, can you please stop deplatforming us and maybe we'll agree on some things, they will stab you in the back in a heartbeat, just like Israel does every single fucking time it breaks a peace agreement of some sort. These people hate you. They are our enemy. They are our enemy just as much as the left is. Never forget that. Listen again.
We canceled Joseph Sobran. We canceled pornography on TV. We cancel stuff all the damn time. Hitler admirers, Stalin admirers, Jew haters, American haters, Churchill haters. You're damn right we're going to cancel them and deplatform them. It's called the market system.
Nick Fuentes was never the extremist. Nick Fuentes has a very actually moderate position once you actually listen to him. He was never the extremist. Nick Fuentes was fighting the extremists. Nick Fuentes was smeared by the fucking extremists. The extremists are the reason that you believe things about Nick Fuentes that are not true.
They don't have a lifetime job like a bureaucrat who we're going to protect. And if they're your friend, there's something wrong with you. No Hitler admirer, Holocaust denier platform.
If you are friends with someone that Mark Levin does not like, then there is something wrong with you and you are Mark Levin's enemy. Like, really think about that. Really think about that. I am friends with a lot of people that I know that Mark Levin doesn't like. I will tell you that right now. Nick Fuentes to be one of them. So if you choose to associate with someone that he doesn't like, kind of sounds like the left, doesn't it? Kind of sounds exactly like the left. They will cancel you for being friends with someone they don't like.
Damn right we're going to cancel them and deplatform them. It's called the market system. They don't have a lifetime job like a bureaucrat who we're going to protect. And if they're your friend, there's something wrong with you. No Hitler admirer, Holocaust denier, platformer should be anybody's friend, as a matter of fact. You don't get to wrap your psychotic, mental, unhinged, Nazi, Klan, jihadist bullshit around American patriotism. You don't get to claim you're MAGA and America first when you're lining up with the Marxists and the Islamists and Hamas and the terrorists. That's not America first. That's sick. Now, I don't need more than 15 minutes. The cowards. We're surrounded by cowards who have microphones, who have TV cameras, who have websites, who have columns. Cowards. It's spelled C-A-R-L-S-O-N. It's spelled Fuentes.
Wow.
It's spelled Owens. It's spelled Bannon. It's spelled Marjorie Traitor Green. You can figure that out yourself.
Wow.
And they're not alone.
I hadn't seen this
Surrounded by
before.
cowards. The cowards. We're surrounded by cowards who have microphones, who have TV cameras, who have websites, who have columns. Cowards. It's spelled Carlson. It's spelled Fuentes. It's spelled Owens. It's spelled Bannon. It's spelled Marjorie Traitor Green. You can figure that out yourself.
Wow.
And they're not alone. How are we going to attack the Mondamis and the Talibs and the Omars and the Sanders and the rest of them when in our own house this poison is spreading? We've got to take care of business. We can fight the enemy on the other side. But the problem is, the more daunting problem, the more complicated problem is when they're in our house and they're trying.
So Mark Levin just said it again. He considers all of us to be the enemy in his own house. The only answer, guys, is we need to cancel and destroy his ass. Obviously non-violently. I would never advocate for violence. But he considers us the enemy. He considers Tucker Carlson the enemy. He considers Nick Fuentes the enemy. He considers Candace Owens the enemy. He considers Steve Bannon the enemy. He considers Marjorie Taylor Greene the enemy. Now, I'm not a fan of every single person on that list. I don't actually like Candace Owens. I don't have actually much of an opinion about Steve Bannon. I don't even ever listen to him. But when assholes like this are coming out and saying, you are the enemy in our own house and you're actually more of an enemy than the left is, go fuck yourself, bro. Go fuck yourself. Do you really think that people like us are going to lay down in front of your fucking pathetic ass without putting up a fight? Do you really, like Mark Levin needs to be fucking canceled. Mark Levin needs to be fucking ostracized. Mark Levin's career needs to be destroyed. Everyone who platforms Mark Levin needs to be hounded into the fucking Stone Age. Everything that he wishes on every other person on the fucking internet that he disagrees with needs to happen to him, and it needs to happen tenfold for what he's proposing. Because this is the fucking left. This is, and is there really any question that all of the cancel culture bullshit is all Jewish? Can we just like dispense? It was never really left or right. It was always just fucking Jewish. That's what it always was. They convinced you it was the left because that was the political game they were playing at the time. And now you're seeing exactly the same shit show up at the right because it was never left or right. It was always fucking Jewish. Or Abrahamic. Okay. Fair point, well made, sir.
To take over our house. And they're burning down our house. And they're destroying America First. And they're destroying MAGA. And they're destroying the Republican Party. Which means they're destroying the country. Either speak up and stand out, but don't be a pretender. Don't be a pretender. We need help to deal with these people. These aren't policy disputes. These aren't personality issues. We're talking about liberty versus tyranny, good versus evil, right versus wrong, democracy versus terrorism, Western Enlightenment versus 7th century barbarians, the greatest generation versus the Third Reich, Chamberlain versus Hitler, Reagan versus Stalin. Is it really that tough to call these buffoons out and to set the record straight? No, it's not. So I'm glad to see the courage that's pouring off this stage. I really am, and some of them deserve a pat on the back. But we need more. We need more. We need more. You don't come here, say things, and go home and forget about it. I stay up at nights thinking about this stuff. Weekends thinking about this stuff. How we're going to fight it. How we're going to confront it. How we're going to defeat it. And you do it first and foremost by calling it out. That's what you do.
So Mark Levin doesn't spend sleepless nights like I do thinking about how to defeat the left, because that's actually what I think about at night. I think about the left. Mark Levin spends sleepless nights thinking about how to defeat people on the right who do not support Israel. That is his biggest priority, because he is an Israel first fucking traitor. He needs to be deported to fucking Israel. He has no business being in this country at all if this is what he actually believes.
This is America first, not the sick rantings of unaccomplished Neanderthals who have social media sites who've contributed absolutely nothing to this country. Zero. What have they contributed? What have they done? Nothing. To ignore this, or to be timid, impotent, tolerant, to acquiesce to it, to waste time debating these people rather than exposing them, to intellectualize it, to respond with anything but moral certainty and clarity, to fail, to call it out everywhere and anywhere, is to be devoured by it. You want to know what the 1930s was like? You're looking it in the eye. That's what it's like. And if the Republicans think, and they don't, this is a cabal, but the poison spreads like it did in the Democrat Party. You either put it out or it devours you. It's that simple. It's devoured them. If the Republican Party goes, we lose our country. If the Republican Party goes, we lose our liberty, our private property rights, our declaration, our Constitution.
Yeah, he just called us a cabal. Yeah, he did.
We lose our Israel. We lose our other allies. That's how serious this is. Now's not the time for political word salads. Not now. Now's the time.
Let me ask this. This is an interesting comment. I feel like I'm slowly being brainwashed. I don't know what they call it when they take people out of cults and try to get them to wake up. That's what's happening to me. Is there anyone else? Listen, it wasn't that long ago that I was red-pilled on all this stuff. Well, it wasn't. Holy shit, it's actually been like 2 years. It's actually been like 2 years since I got red-pilled on all this stuff by He Who Shall Not Be Named over on Kick. Thanks, Karlyn. Didn't know I needed this today. You're welcome, Doug. Is there anyone here that is just waking up to the fact that Americans, that American politicians and the Republican Party is completely cucked to Israel? Because I'm still new enough to this where I remember what it was like to actually realize what was going on, to be deprogrammed by all of this. One in the chat, if you're just starting to come around to the idea that all of these people are completely fucking cucked to Israel. 2 in the chat if you've known about this for a while. 3 in the chat if you still believe we should support Israel. I'm honestly curious. 1 in the chat if you're like just waking up to all this. 2 in the chat if you've kind of known about it. 3 in the chat if you still support Israel. Yeah, so there are some ones. I just want to say to the ones, you're going to feel like you're going insane. And I'm really sorry that you have to wake up to this. And for all the 2s, everyone should be very gentle with the 1s because we were all there at some point where we had to wake up to this bullshit. And it sucks to see it. And I mean, you probably want to spend some time researching World War II and everything that you were told about that. And it gets really sad when you do that. That's when the shit really hits the fan. And it sucks. It really does suck to be waking up to this. But it is necessary that we wake up to this. It is necessary that we hinge into reality and start facing the fact that this has been going on for decades and decades and decades. We have been lied to by these people. Every time someone says Israel is our greatest ally, why? Why are they our greatest ally? What have they ever done for us? In fact, it kind of seems like we give them a lot of our money and we go to war on their behalf and a lot of Americans die on behalf of Israel for no good fucking reason. And then you're going to start to figure out that people have been completely brainwashed to believe that Islam and China are our greatest enemy. And I'm not saying I like Islam, because I don't, and I'm not saying that I'm on the side of China, because I'm not. But are are Islam and China really our greatest enemy? Really though? Really? Like, what have they actually done for us? What, and again, I'm not the biggest fan of Islam. I'm not going to go to any Islamic country anytime soon. But there's a reason that people that support Israel want you to think that Islam is our greatest enemy, because they want us to go to war with Islamic countries on their behalf. Thank you, Kazmar. Appreciate you very, very much.
For precise, crystal clear, unequivocal, unadulterated language. The Democrat Party is gone. It's not their base. It's not a left-wing part of the party. It's the party. The
Completely
party
wrong,
is gone.
actually.
It's anti-American.
Completely wrong,
It's
actually.
anti-Constitution. It's anti-private property rights and capitalism. That's what it is. Isn't it weird that the voices of the woke alt-right isolationists sound more like the Marxists and the Islamists?
Mark Levin just said the woke alt-right isolationists sound a lot like the Marxists and the Democrats. What he means by that is American nationalists who don't want to send all our money to Israel. He's saying that people like us who just want American money to stay in America to help Americans, he's saying that we are the same as the Marxist guys. He's saying that we're the same as the left. This is the problem that we are dealing with on the right.
Isn't it interesting? Little Adolf Fuentes, little Adolf.
Little Adolf.
He gets here, he's got a little suit on like he's attending a funeral. My advice to little Adolf is just go full, put the brown shirt on. What are you, a coward? Put the brown shirt on. I know you can't grow the Hitler mustache. You're still stuck in your prepubescent stage, but give it a
sorry.
shot.
I'm sorry. That
Give
is just fucking slander. Nick grows an excellent mustache. Nick looks great with a mustache. In fact, maybe it's time that Nick grew out the mustache. It's been a little while since Nick grew out the mustache. But Nick legitimately looks awesome with a mustache. This guy can go fuck himself.
Shot. To Tucker Carlson, I say, did you have a head injury? What happened to you? But you know what? Unlike other people, truly, I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't care why. I just know what you are. You platform these people. You deceive your audience.
I just know that you said
audience,
things on the internet
you
that
become
I
a
didn't
full-blown,
like.
out of the closet Jew hater.
Uh-huh.
And if you're a Jew hater, if you're a Jew hater, you're a Christian hater. And they demonstrated that.
If you're
Christian Zionist.
wait, Amalek, if you're a Jew hater, you're a Christian hater. Why might that be? Actually, why might that be? Could it be that Christianity is literally Jewish? Is that why Mark Levin's saying if you're a Jew hater, you're also a Christian hater?
Deceive your audience. You lie to your audience. You become a full-blown, out of the closet Jew hater. And if you're a Jew hater, you're a Christian hater. And they demonstrated that. Christian Zionism. Wow. You know what he said? He said that he despises Christian Zionists more than anybody. More than anybody.
Do they, hang on, this is a good question for people who are red pilling. Do they consider being a nationalist anti-Semitic? Yes. They consider being a nationalist to be anti-Semitic because it means you are not putting Israel first and you are not sending all of our money to Israel. This is part of why, guys. I mean, listen. Oh God, do I really want to get into the immigration bullshit? Not really. But let's just say that yes, if you are an America First nationalist, you are in Mark Levin's head an anti-Semite. Absolutely. Hey, Kyle, thank you for the very generous super chat. As a descendant of the founding fathers, George Reed, who signed the Declaration of Independence, drafted and ratified the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, my allegiance is to our Constitution and to our nation. These people are not patriots. I totally agree, Kyle. Completely agree. Mark Levin is a traitor to this country. Brandon Talmud is a traitor to this country. Every single conservative politician who got on their knees to suck off Israel at this event is a traitor to this country. And by the way, that includes Donald Trump. Donald Trump also gave a speech at this event. It was only 3 minutes long. He didn't really say much of anything, but I'm sorry. These people can all go fuck themselves. All of these people are demanding that we put a foreign power ahead of Americans. I decline. I say no. And I don't want to unify with these people. I don't want to work with these people. Do I hate Antifa or Mark Levin more? I hate Mark Levin more than I hate Antifa because Mark Levin is allowing Antifa to win. Let's be very clear. If Mark Levin gets his way, Antifa wins. If Brandon Talmud gets his way, Antifa wins. If Donald Trump gets his way right now, Antifa wins because Donald Trump isn't doing shit to stop Antifa. It's all a political show. How many Antifa have been arrested since Trump declared Antifa a terrorist organization? By the Trump administration's own admission, they are allowing Antifa to run around doing whatever the fuck they want. They're not arresting them at all because it was never real. It was never fucking real. These people don't give two shits about stopping the left. They only use it as a political talking point to rile up their base and to give you to gift them money. That's it.
Than terrorists? More than Hamas and Hezbollah? More than the Muslim Brotherhood? More than our great friends in Qatar? More than the Taliban? More than mass murders? Christian Zionists? He despises them even more than Jews? Christian Zionists? If you reject Judaism, you reject Christianity. If you reject Judaism and Christianity, then you reject the American founding based on the Judeo-Christian values.
This is a question that I really just don't understand. How the ever-loving fuck were Jews involved in the founding of America? Why do these people always say America is built on Judeo-Christian values? I'm sorry. What the fuck did Jews have to do with anything in regards to the founding of America? How? Makes no sense.
And belief system. If you embrace Hitler, if you play footsie with Hitler, if you think Hitler's misunderstood, if you think Churchill's the reason we had World War II, if you think Churchill was the provocateur, if you think those things, I don't want to debate you. I don't even care about you.
Apparently you do, because you're giving a whole speech about him.
That's not a legitimate position.
This is like when a fucking teenage girl says, like, a fucking teenage girl gets mad at one of her friends, and she says, I don't even care what you think. But then she just keeps talking and talking and talking about her. This is like, Mark Levin is like, I don't even care what Nick Fuentes says, and I would never lower myself to debate Nick Fuentes, and I don't even know why we're talking about Nick Fuentes. Mark Levin is literally giving a whole speech in response to Nick Fuentes, and then he's saying he doesn't even care about him. This is a teenage girl fucking hissy fit.
Hitler's misunderstood. If you think Churchill's the reason we had World War II, if you think Churchill was the provocateur, if you think those things, I don't want to debate you. I don't even care about you.
Yeah, this is like a Taylor Swift song. Exactly.
That's not a legitimate position. Supporting the Klan's not a legitimate position. Neo-Nazis, that's not a legitimate position. Jihadis, that's not a legitimate position. These are people who want to kill us. These are ideologies that want to kill us. Oh, no, I'm just asking questions. Okay, I'm answering it. I'm answering your damn questions. This is going to separate, and you're going to see, whether they're in radio or TV or podcasting or politicians, this is going to separate statesmen and leaders from the rest. From the rest. And you can observe this yourselves. These aren't powerful people. Seriously? These aren't intelligent people. These are lowlives that have platforms. If we can't speak out against them and fight them, what good are we? Conservative institutions. We've been putting billions of dollars into conservative institutions for half a century. Now's the time. We're not interested in your white papers. We're not interested in your booklets. We're not interested in your donation requests. Unless now, when you're needed, you speak out and you do something to help save this republic, to help save freedom in this country, to help save the West. Now's the time for conservative institutions to produce. See, how can I put this? How many of you have been to Israel? So who protects the holy sites in Israel? The Palestinians? Any Arabs? The Muslims? Who protects the holy sites in Israel? The Israeli police and military.
Oh, shit.
Who protects?
I gotta go get some more coffee. I'll be right back. I'm gonna let this play.
The
Oh shit, that's not letting it play. I'll be right back.
Christian sites in Israel. Really? Who protects the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Israel? Who protects the Jewish sites, the Christian sites, the Muslim sites, any holy site in the state of Israel? It's the Israelis. We don't need to pressure the Israelis to defend holy sites, including the Church of the Holy Sepulchre that has been protected since the state of Israel was founded from first the Jordanians, now the Palestinians. The Israelis protect the Christian sites. What's happened to Bethlehem? Who's in charge of Bethlehem? The Palestinians. It was 85% Christian. I blinked, and now it's 85% Palestinian, with the Christians being abused and forced out. How come I don't hear about pressuring them? Nothing. Tell me, who tries to protect the Christians in Syria? Who sends their armed forces into Syria to protect the Christians? We don't send the Marines in. We don't send NATO in. I don't see any international Arab community doing it. Do you? It's the Israelis who are protecting as many of the minorities in these countries as they can. Tell me, how many Jews are left in the Arab countries? How many Christians are left in the Arab countries? Who's committing genocide?
Israel!
Genocide.
Wait, I'm sorry. One in the chat if you believe that Israel is committing a genocide against the Palestinians. Two in the chat if you do not believe Israel is committing a genocide. One in the chat for Israel is the one committing a genocide. Two in the chat if what Israel is doing is just fine. Looks like an awful lot of ones in the chat. Lot of ones in the chat. Looks like we disagree with you, Marky Mark. Looks like we think Israel's the one committing the genocide.
You want to talk about genocide? Ask the black Christians in Nigeria and the Congo and the Sudan about genocide. Hundreds of thousands of them slaughtered by the jihadi Islamists. Hundreds of thousands of them. Go on the internet. It's unimaginable how they're hanging these people, grabbing their little girls. It is horrendous. Tell me, who killed 600,000 Muslims in Syria? The jihadi Muslims killed 600,000 Muslims in Syria. Assad killed 600,000 Muslims in Syria. Who got rid of Assad? Netanyahu got rid of Assad. Lebanon just elected a Christian president. How the hell did that happen? Who defeated Hezbollah? Netanyahu and the Israelis defeated Hezbollah. There was no other military in there, no other military in Syria, no other military in Lebanon, no other military, no other, protecting Christians, Jews, and yes, even Muslims in the Middle East, committing genocide. We have to pressure the Israelis to protect holy sites? Are you kidding me? Apartheid, that's a funny one. We just went over how many Jews and Christians are left in the Arab world. How come they never talk about, like this Mandami? Israel's okay. I'm just opposed to a Jewish state. Are you opposed to a Muslim state? How many are them? I can't even count how many Muslim states there are. How many? 54, he says, and I don't know that man, but he sounds very authentic. Sounds right. 57, that's Heinz ketchup. Oh, what about apartheid in Israel? Where Muslims are in the IDF, Christians are in the IDF, Jews are in the IDF, Arabs are, Druze are, and so forth and so on. Let me ask you a question. I think we had all the Jews in the House of Representatives here this morning, 4 of them. 4 Jews in the House of Representatives. There are more Arabs in the Knesset in Israel than there are Jews in the U.S. House of Representatives. Don't tell me that Israel is apartheid. I'm sitting here having to unravel all the lies, the current propaganda used by the Democrat Party, the media,
The Democrats. And
the isolationists. I don't know what the hell to call these people.
The isolationists.
The pro-Hitler wing of the Republican Party and
the pro-Hitler wing of the Republican Party, the isolationists. Guys, according to Mark Levin, you're all literal Nazis if you don't support Israel. Where have I heard this before? Why is this so deeply familiar to me? You know what? This is why if you are a person that quote unquote left the left, you will either be forced to assimilate to speaking the talking points the neocon fucking right wants you to speak, or you will be ostracized. Because like it is so easy once you've actually left the left, once like I already had a party do this to me. I already went through this with the Democrats. I already went through this with my own political side 6 fucking years ago. Once you see it happen on your own political side and you come to the conclusion that this is not good, that they're calling everyone they don't like Nazis, it is super easy to see it when the other side does it. Because I was never a Republican. I was never a conservative. Not really in any real way. And so it's like, this is all deeply fucking familiar. Why do these people get to run around calling everyone they don't like Nazis? And people are totally okay with that when I'm old enough to remember 5 or 6 years ago, they were like, can you believe the left is running around calling everyone they don't like Nazis and fascists? It is literally exactly the same thing. Why is it exactly the same? Because it was all Jewish from the very fucking beginning.
Pro-Hitler wing of the Democrat Party. Let me tell you something. I'm an American. My grandfather fought in Iwo Jima in Guam. My great-uncle fought in Guadalcanal. My family's
my
American,
grandfather fought in World War II too, you asshole.
Jewish, and we're proud of both. And I shouldn't have to stand up here and demonstrate that my family and I are patriotic Americans. And I'm not doing it for that purpose. I'm doing it to explain that when the Third Reich took over, Jews who fought for Germany in World War I, they would bring out their medals, they'd bring out their uniform, they would say, I fought for Germany. It didn't matter. To the gas chambers you go. to the gas chambers you go. I want to say this to the people who are attacking America by attacking Jews and Christians, by attacking our history. I want to say something to you. You're not going to get what you want. You know why? Because we're not going anywhere. Not now, not ever. Ironically, you little bastards have done more to unite us with our Christian brothers and sisters and Jews. I don't care, atheists, agnostics, straight, gay, men, women, whatever it is. You have done more to unite America than anything else in this country. Because Americans love America. Americans love freedom, liberty. Americans love the Golden Rule, the 10 Commandments. We Americans love our Bible. Americans, some the Old Testament, some the Old and the New Testament.
All right, we got a super chat from Kyle. Thanks, Kyle, for the super chat. Frederick Reed McGrew, my grandfather, also fought against the Nazis and almost died twice. We all carry George Reed's last name as our middle name. That's quite a legacy, Kyle. Appreciate the super chat. Yeah, you need to clip this whole thing. That's a nice activity.
They're in the same Bible for many people. We are hooked at the hip, Jew and Christian, and nothing will or can come between us as we face the Islamists, the Marxists, and the pro-Hitler crowd. We are very fortunate. And then I'll finish up. We are very fortunate to have truly two great men in the world at the same time. Doesn't happen often. You had Franklin Roosevelt, whose domestic policies I completely reject. But in his alliance against Hitler with Churchill, it was a great marriage. Reagan and Thatcher, Trump and Netanyahu.
Wow.
Stand up, Trump and Netanyahu. I can't see. I know both of these men. You know, people try to come between them and the United States and Israel. It won't work. Allies don't always agree. FDR and Churchill didn't always agree. Reagan and Thatcher didn't always agree. Hell, husband and wife don't always agree. Except my wife, I always agree with her. What's that sign say, honey? I can't. Okay. And Trump and Netanyahu. But look what these two men have accomplished. It's extraordinary, extraordinary. The United States has a more powerful presence in the Middle East than ever in its history. China and Russia are out. Out. Israel is now more secure than it ever has been in its history, having defeated Hamas effectively, Hezbollah, Iran in 12 days, and they're going to kick the ass out of the Houthis if they don't stop firing those missiles too.
Almost like Israel's causing all the problems in the region.
And I just want the anti-American, anti-Israel, anti-West crowd to understand something. You're going to have to come through me and millions of people just like me.
Well, Daphne, if you truly like Mark Levin, then you want all of us to be canceled and deplatformed. So what the fuck are you doing here? Because apparently you are liking and supporting someone who wants to cancel and deplatform me, so I don't know what you're doing in my chat right now. And no, I'm not going to pray for him, and I'm not going to pray for Bibi Netanyahu, and I'm not going to pray for Donald Trump. That's absolutely not going to happen. If for no other reason, then I'm not a Christian.
And you're not going to make it. You think your stupid little podcast, or your stupid little subscription program,
podcast,
or your little TV show, or maybe you have a little radio show, is going to change the world like hell it is. Not if I and everybody else have something to say about it. Now I want to thank the...
Well, I don't know about that, Mark, because it kind of seems like you're doing a whole speech just based on Tucker Carlson's little podcast and Nick Fuentes' little podcast. You think your little podcast is going to change anything? You idiots are literally having an entire conference to respond to Tucker Carlson's little podcast and Nick Fuentes' little podcast.
JC, I want to thank all of you. I'm sorry if I offended you. Not really, but you know I have to say that. I had to get to the point, so I couldn't be as intellectual as I like to be. I think somebody called me a passionate intellectual. Something's not right there, but I don't know what it is. But I just want to make something clear to you. Americans are good people. Americans love good people. We want to be with good people. So good people need to stand up and speak out. I don't care if it's in your church or synagogue, little community. I don't care where it is. Don't be a wallflower. It's now or never. And I want to thank my dear friends, Ron and Rhoda Derma, who are sitting right there. Our dear friends. Ron, you're like a brother. You really are. And Rhoda, you're fantastic. They have sacrificed years and years of years serving the Israeli government and really the American government too. Be careful, Ron. You'll go back to Israel and they'll say, what do you have, dual citizenship with Israel and the United States? No, I think you've proven yourself. Here's the thing. If you're an American patriot, you're an Israeli patriot. If you're an Israeli patriot, you're an American patriot. It's that simple.
Wow.
And one last thing for my third last thing. Let me say this.
No. Like, really think about this. Again, excuse me, Mark Levin.
And really, the American government too. Be careful, Ron. You'll go back to Israel and they'll say, what do you have, dual citizenship with Israel and the United States? No, I think you've proven yourself. Here's the thing. If you're an American patriot, you're an Israeli patriot. If you're an Israeli patriot, you're an American patriot.
If you're an American patriot, you're an Israeli patriot. If you're an Israeli patriot, you're an American patriot. No, asshole. That's not how that works. Israel is a completely different fucking country. I am not an Israel patriot, and there are no fucking Israel patriots that are American patriots because they're not fucking Americans. Israel is not America. Israelis are not Americans. It is a completely different fuck-off country.
It's that simple. And one last thing for my third last thing. Let me say this. We have this all wrong. Oh, we give Israel $3 billion a year. Oh, they're a protectorate. We, Europe, people of freedom, Jews, Christians, people who believe in liberty around the world. We need to thank...
hang on. I got to address this from Offensive Saint. This is never going to happen. I am never going to be invited on Dave Smith's podcast. Do you want to know why? Because Dave Smith is afraid of me, and he has been afraid of me since 2021. There have been people since 2021, over 4 years, almost 5 years now. There have been people since 2021 that have been trying to get Dave Smith to talk to me. There were multiple people the entire year of 2021 that were in Dave Smith's ear. Talk to Karlyn, Dave. Talk to Karlyn. Talk to Karlyn. Talk to Karlyn. Michael Heiss one time stood over Dave Smith's shoulder and said, Dave, you're going to fucking email Karlyn and get her on the podcast. And so because Michael Heiss was watching over Dave Smith's shoulder, he emailed emailed me. I actually have Dave Smith's personal email address, and then I immediately emailed him back, and he never responded. Do you want to know why? Because Dave Smith is afraid of me. Dave Smith has always been afraid of me, and I quite frankly don't even want to talk to Dave Smith. So even if he did invite me, I would say no, because I actually don't even like Dave Smith. I've never found Dave Smith to be funny, and I don't care how many viewers Dave Smith has. Dave Smith doesn't know fuck off about what I do. He has never shown any interest in what I do. Even when I was a libertarian and I was trying to hand all of the libertarians, my whole walkaway audience on a platform, Dave Smith didn't care then, because Dave Smith is a disingenuous fucking failed comedian who is a failed comedian because he is not funny, and he is trying to use politics to build an audience that he couldn't build on the basis of being a comedian because he's not fucking funny. So no, I'm never going on Dave Smith's podcast. It's never going to happen. I am very sorry to disappoint. He and I have nothing to talk about. I am way funnier than Dave Smith on like every single day of the week. And I think he's beneath me, and I don't want to talk to him.
The Israelis for what they've been doing. We need to thank them for using their soldiers to fight an enemy that the rest of the world refused to fight. And if you think I'm wrong, that this is our enemy too, and you know I'm right, why are we spending hundreds of billions of dollars a year on counterterrorism measures? To protect us from the Europeans, from the Israelis, the Brazilians?
No. Again, you apparently have a hearing problem, Johnny Q, and that's gonna bode problematic if you're gonna be on my channel. You apparently have a hearing problem. Let me explain again, and I will explain very slowly so stupid people like you can understand what I'm saying. In 2021, there was literally a half dozen people that were haranguing Dave Smith all the time to talk to me. Dave Smith kept saying he would talk to me over and over and over and over and over again, but the loser couldn't answer emails and he couldn't answer DMs. Eventually, I lost interest because I didn't actually think that Dave Smith was that smart, and I didn't actually think that Dave Smith was that funny, so I just stopped fucking trying. It got to the point where Dave Smith's friends wanted him to talk to me so badly that they literally stood over his shoulder until he sent me a fucking email saying, "Will you come on my show?" I answered him immediately. He never answered me back. And additionally, and I'll even say this, I have been in the exact same place as Dave Smith on multiple occasions. I was in the same place as Dave Smith at the Pennsylvania Libertarian Convention in 2022. I was around Dave Smith multiple times at the Libertarian National Convention in 2022. Every single time that Dave Smith is in the vicinity of me, what he does is he makes eye contact with me for 2 seconds, and then he turns and he runs in the opposite direction. Dave Smith won't even acknowledge me when he is standing right next to me in person. That is how afraid of me he is. So I never really wanted to talk to Dave Smith. I didn't even really care about Dave Smith. A lot of people wanted me to talk to him. And then Dave Smith behaved like such a complete coward. Oh no, you just got banned. Oh no, you're such a loser that you just got banned because you couldn't even open your ears and listen. I'm very sorry, Johnny. It's me. It's not you. You're just too stupid to be in the chat. We can't have retards in my chat, bro. You run around causing problems. Yeah, Dave Smith has literally run away from me multiple occasions like a little fucking coward bitch. I ain't wasting my time on him. He is beneath me. Let's see. I think I just got a super chat. Mark's Lives over on Rumble. That's where I got the super chat from. It's not enough to be not anti-Semitic. You must be anti-Semitic. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. So no, I will not be going on Dave Smith's show ever. And I don't really care how people feel about it.
The Norwegians? No, the Islamist terrorists.
If you never heard of Dave
Smith,
consider yourself lucky. I had to go to several comedy shows of his, and they weren't funny.
They're fighting and defeating on their behalf, our behalf, and the behalf of the free world. I want to thank you. God bless you. Be well.
Okay, hang on. I have to finish this row. Hang on, I have to finish this row. I'm gonna break it. Hang on. Okay, row finish. All right, next speech. Mark Levin is an asshole. All right, Now let's watch Congressman Randy Fine. Jewish Congressman Randy Fine from Florida, who is going to get on his knees and suck off Benjamin Netanyahu. Let's watch.
Please welcome the Hebrew Hammer, Congressman Randy Fine.
The Hebrew Hammer. Did you guys hear that? They just called him the Hebrew Hammer.
Please welcome the Hebrew Hammer, Congressman Randy Fine.
Well, thank you, everybody. 1 year ago, I was here at RJC as a member of the Florida House of Representatives. I never in my wildest imagination would have thought 1 year later I would be America's newest Jewish Republican congressman. But God has a plan for us all. I grew up the victim of
look at all the Tucker is not MAGA signs congregating in front of the Hebrew Hammer.
rampant systemic and physical anti-Semitism, where it was not safe for me to eat in the cafeteria with the other students, where a brave school principal saved my life by letting me hide in his office when I needed to. Facing violence no 12-year-old ever should have to. On the day of my bar mitzvah, I promised I would do everything that I could to make sure my children did not face what I did.
Stunning and brave.
And for 8 years,
Stunning
as a member of the Florida legislature, I worked hard to deliver on that promise, to make Florida the safest place in America to be Jewish. Those of you who are from Florida know that. We were the first state to adopt the IRA definition of anti-Semitism, to name CARE a terrorist organization, to ensure Jewish day schools had adequate security, and to make sure terrorist encampments could never take hold at Florida's universities. Every one of those was my bill. But October 7th showed me that I had not done enough.
Look at this fucking display.
Like many of you, I made it my mission to make Donald J. Trump our next president. I saw him, and I still do, as the world's last best hope. Imagine where we would be if Kamala Harris had won. I skipped my own victory party to the Florida Senate to be there to celebrate President Trump's win. I breathed a sigh of relief. I thought that my work was done. Well, man plans and God laughs. 2 weeks later, before I even had a chance to take my oath of office as a member of the Florida Senate, President Trump asked me to run for Congress to replace Mike Waltz, our new UN ambassador. It was not my plan. It certainly wasn't my family's. But God puts us where he wants us to be. 7 months ago, on this exact day, I got elected to Congress. And I see so many friends in the audience who made that happen. Barbara Feingold was there the night I spoke to the president. My mom died 5 days before President Trump asked me to run. She's my honorary Jewish grandmother. My honorary Jewish mother. She'll be mad at me now. Matt Brooks and Norm Coleman and Matt Bogdanoff made an exception to the RJC's primary endorsement policy to endorse me the day I announced. Now, when you're on the home team, you ought to get that exception. Mark Levin featured me on his show. I ran against a guy, it was crazy, who marketed himself literally, marketed himself as a Muslim bisexual, because those go together, drug addict. I swear. Yet he raised $15 million in small dollar donations from a country whose first name starts with Q in order to run against me. But all of you helped me get there. And for the last 7 months, I've tried to make you proud. I'm the first member of Congress in American history to wear a kippah. And I'm going to tell you why. I am not Orthodox. But when I got to Congress, they put me on the Education Committee. And on May the 6th, we had our first hearing to deal with anti-Semitism. And in that morning, my
How many hearings has the education committee had to deal with critical race theory in schools? How many hearings has the education committee had to deal with transing kids in schools? How many hearings has the education committee had to talk about all of the leftist indoctrination in schools? How many hearings has the education committee had to talk about the fact that 44% of kids think that they are gender non-binary or gender fluid because of the things they learned in the schools? But do you know how many and the answer is 0 to all of those, by the way. But do you know how many hearings they've had about anti-Semitism? I have lost fucking count. I have lost fucking count of how many hearings these people have had about anti-Semitism in the last 2 fucking years. These people claim to want to fight the left, and then they never actually do anything to fight the left. All they do is bitch and complain about anti-Semitism, 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 anti-Semitism. You know exactly who owns these people because they don't do anything to fight the enemy they claim to have. They only bitch and complain about what Israel wants them to.
My son, Jacob, who's 17 years old, said, "Dad, I think you should wear a kippah today." And I said, "Why?" "We only wear a kippah at services." He said, "Because I have friends like these down here who go to college and who are afraid to wear theirs. So you go wear one for them." And I did. And I gave those college presidents a piece of my mind. And at the end of that day, you should find the YouTube videos. At the end of the day, my son said, "Dad, I want you to keep wearing it until every college student feels safe permanently wearing their kippah." So I did. 3 days later, Speaker Johnson invited me to be the Speaker pro tem of the U.S. House of Representatives. And when I was up there on the stage, as I looked out in the gallery, I'm listening to Democrats talk. It's very boring. I'm looking at who's coming into the gallery, and I see an Orthodox family come in. I know it's an Orthodox family. They have 10 kids. They're wearing tzitzit, black coat, the whole thing. I see them up there. And all of a sudden, the kids are pointing at me. I'm like, what do I do? Do I have my hair messed up? And then I realized they were pointing at me because they saw someone who looked like them. And I turned to the staff in that moment, and I said, "Has anybody ever worn a kippah?" And they said, "No. In the 249-year history of the United States, you are the first."
Where have I heard this before? Where have I heard this before? They never saw someone like them in their role. They saw someone who looked like them. I'm sorry, is that the reason that literally Kamala Harris was the vice president of the United States? Is that the reason literally that Ketanji Brown Jackson was nominated to the Supreme Court? Is that we need people who look like other people. They're all fucking leftists.
First member of Congress to ever wear a kippah. And so I wear it, not so much for religious reasons, but to send a message that we will not be afraid, that we will lean into the fight, and we will never again apologize for who we are. You know, I have a lot of stories I could tell about what I've done to beat up the left. I called Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib Muslim terrorists. They didn't like it very much. I said, the truth is an absolute defense.
Wait, this is like the most conservative thing that's ever been done. Randy Fine is literally like, do you know what I did to defeat the left? I called Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib Muslim terrorists, and I own the libs. Left defeated. All he had to do was say, you are a Muslim terrorist, and apparently that's enough to defeat the left. Do you guys want to know why the left continues to win every single day? Do you guys want to know why Antifa goes completely unchecked in our society? Do you guys want to know why Trump isn't getting his mass deportations? Do you guys want to know why protesters are allowed to cause chaos out in front of the ICE facilities? Because literally people on the right actually do believe that the only thing they need to do to defeat the left is to own the libs by insulting them. And then the fight is totally over. Pinky swear, trust me, bro. Randy Fine called them Islamic terrorists. Oh my God, that changes everything. Listen to this. All I had to do to defeat the left was own the libs.
You know, I have a lot of stories I could tell about what I've done to beat up the left. I called Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib Muslim terrorists. They didn't like it very much. I said, the truth is an absolute defense. I've called for Zohran Mandami to be deported.
Oh, you own the libs, man. Damn.
The only thing I want to see him running for is his gate at JFK on the deportation flight to Uganda.
Wow. You showed them, Randy.
And I think we have to face a hard truth. If you think about, look at the polling in New York. When people who just moved here to become citizens are voting in a diametrically opposed way to people who were born here, it means that we have failed as a country to have immigration for those who share our values. We need to go back and take a hard look at those things. And I could stand up here all day and take shots at the left. I like it. It's how I got that nickname they told you, the Hebrew Hammer.
I like it. That's why I'm the Hebrew
But
Hammer.
I'm here for the kids down here. Because it's easy to talk about anti-Semitism on the left. I want to talk about the dark force rising on our side. Multiple speakers have talked about the rise of anti-Semitism on the right. But it is not enough to speak in platitudes or generalities about the fight. We must call evil by its name. 5 years ago, if I was talking to my father, who's watching, hi Dad, if I was talking to my father at 8:59.
Hey, I'll get another super chat from Kyle. Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, name calling totally overcomes the thousands of leftists and communists and lifetime appointments in institutional systems. Great job, Randy. Yep. Yeah. Like, you know, people get pissed at me because I complain so much about how stupid and ridiculous conservatives are. And then a conservative congressman says, do you know what I did to defeat the left? I called them a name they didn't like, and they didn't like that. Left totally defeated. And then I go, you know, do you guys wonder why I say the right isn't doing anything to defeat the left when all they do is literally call them names on Twitter and they say that that's really all they need to do? We pissed the left off, so we totally won. Okay.
9 p.m. at night, he would say, Randy, I gotta go. Tucker Carlson's gonna be on. But make no mistake, today, Tucker Carlson is the most dangerous anti-Semite in America.
Wow.
He has chosen to take on the mantle of leader of a modern-day Hitler Youth, to broadcast and feature those who celebrate the Nazis, those who call for the extermination of Israel, to defend Hamas, to even criticize President Trump for stopping Iran's nuclear ambitions. Friends, make no mistake, Tucker is not MAGA.
Oh my God.
Tucker's fall from grace has been one of the most extraordinary implosions in political history. And the rapidity of it has created real challenges for us all. Because our friends don't have our shared experience. I even deal with this with my colleagues in the House. See, they remember the Tucker of 5 years ago. They don't live with anti-Semitism every day. They don't think about it the way that we do. And it's...
My colleagues in the House don't share my lived experiences. Where have I heard that before? Why does that sound deeply familiar to me? Could people complaining about their fucking lived experience? Oh, wait, that's what the left says. Oh, they're leftists again.
Jarring for them to try to understand, how did this person become...
Yeah, who funded those signs? Because those signs look a whole lot better than the socialist signs. Who funded those signs? It was probably George Soros. I'm sure it was George Soros. These people are talking like leftists. They must have gotten that good Soros check.
Who he is today. But the challenge is he's inspired a movement of hate in our midst. And I'm not done calling people out.
Tucker has inspired a movement of hate.
I have the distinct displeasure of serving with two overt anti-Semites. You know, there was a time in the Democratic Party where they probably, when I was a kid, I was always a Republican. And I thought the liberals were dumb, but I never thought they were anti-Semitic. And there came a time in the last 30 years where probably they had one or two in Congress who were anti-Semitic. And you know what they did? They said, it's no big deal. They're the fringe. No one listens to them. No one will believe them. And they didn't do anything about it. And look where we are now. Well, I have to serve with those two people now. Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Some days...
I thought he was going to talk about Republicans. No, Thomas Massie is the greatest anti-Semite of our generation? Are you fucking kidding me? I thought he was going to talk about the Democrats.
Probably they had one or two Semites. I have the distinct displeasure of serving with two overt anti-Semites. You know, there was a time in the Democratic Party where they probably, when I was a kid, I was always a Republican. And I thought the liberals were dumb, but I never thought they were anti-Semitic. And there came a time in the last 30 years where probably they had one or two in Congress who were anti-Semitic. And you know what they did? They said, it's no big deal. They're the fringe. No one listens to them. No one will believe them. And they didn't do anything about it. And look where we are now. Well, I have to serve with those two people now. Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Some days I marvel at their stupidity. Other days at their evil.
Wow.
It makes my stomach crawl that I have to sit in the same room with them.
Literally.
So now we have to choose.
Asshole.
Will we ignore these embarrassments to our party? Will we pretend they don't matter or that they don't exist? Will we make the same mistakes that Democrats made so many years ago? I know what I'm going to choose.
You're already doing that, Randy.
I'm going to choose
I'd say
to fight.
you're already making the same mistakes the Democrats
For organizations like the Heritage Foundation, whose CEO stated that opposing Tucker's bigotry makes us some kind of venomous coalition. I thought about actually printing that out and putting it right here, venomous coalition over our name. I guess I need to find a pet snake. I was supposed to do an event with Heritage next week, I think on Wednesday. They don't know what I'm about to tell you. Right now, we're canceling it.
Good.
They will have no future in my office, and I will be calling on all of my colleagues on the Republican side to do the same. If those who support Tucker Carlson want to see a venomous coalition, all they need to do is go look in the mirror. In our faith, we have fought the forces of evil for 3,000 years. We've never been afraid because we're guided by Hashem's demand that we bring light to the world, that we stand before the darkness and we be prepared to do what is right. God puts us where he wants us to be, not just for me as a congressman, but for all of you, for all of these kids down here, for all of you in the audience. God wants you to be right here, right now, engaged in that fight. And today in this room and at this time, we speak with one loud and convincing truth. We will not let our party fall to this darkness. We will not let our country give in to this evil. And as we have done rhetorically, spiritually, and physically, not just for the last 2 years, but for the past 2,000 years, we will bring truth and light and goodness to the world. We will fight together with RJC, with Matt Brooks, Norm Coleman, with Speaker Johnson, and the greatest friend, not that just Israel has ever had, but American Jews have ever had, President Donald J. Trump. Because God didn't just put me where he wants us to be. He didn't just put you where he wants you to be. He put President Trump where he wants him to be as well. May God bless you all. May God bless our spiritual homeland of Israel. And may God bless the United States, the greatest nation in the history of the world.
Our spiritual homeland of Israel. Well, Randy, I think you should move to your spiritual homeland of Israel if it's so great. I think you should just go there and stay, bro. I think it's a really good idea. All right, let's see. Who do I have next? Oh, the blonde bimbo getting paid $7,000 a post for Israel, Emily Aston. Let's see what she had to say.
I'm not tall enough for this. Hang on. Good evening. Good evening. Shabbat Shalom.
You love Christian Sundays?
It's an honor to stand here with the Republican Jewish Coalition, a community that understands perhaps better than any other that clarity and courage are not optional in times like this. They are required. In the days and weeks after October 7th, like many of you, I found myself in constant conversations on television and interviews and debates online, trying to justify, explain, and contextualize. I felt obligated to prove to everyone that Israel's struggle was legitimate, that our pain was real, and that our right to exist was self-evident. But just with time, something shifted in me.
Our right to exist is self-evident. I'm sorry. Is Emily Austin Israeli? Because I was to understand that she was like an American MAGA influencer who showed her tits on the internet, and then she got famous for showing her tits on the internet or something. Is she Israeli? Because she just said our right to exist.
I felt obligated to prove to everyone that Israel's struggle was legitimate, that our pain was real, and that our right to exist was self-evident.
Our right to exist kind of sounds like she's Israeli. Good boy, thank you for the super chat. Summary of this whole thing: we own your useless Christian ass, and there's nothing you can do about it. So shut the fuck up. Yep, that's actually pretty accurate. Okay, so here's my impression of who she is. She is a blonde woman who shows her boobs on the internet and is famous for being a blonde woman that shows her boobs on the internet. That's the extent that I know who this person is. And I know that they paid her to go to Israel, and I know that she has openly admitted that the Israeli government is paying her to make pro-Israel posts on the internet. And then she makes pro-Israel posts and she shows her tits. And then everyone goes, yay, boobs.
But just with time, something shifted in me. I realized that no other nation on earth is asked to justify their existence every single day. Not China, not Russia, not Turkey, not America, not any country born through war, conflict, or the complicated history that defines every modern state. And yet Israel, the world's only Jewish state, the refuge for a people who survived exile, genocide, and statelessness, is uniquely and constantly placed on trial. So my posture changed. I stopped apologizing for Israel.
Right. Oh shit, I forgot about this. Emily Austin recently launched a campaign for Andrew Cuomo. So this fucking Israeli sellout cunt has actually taken money to promote a Democrat politician in New York. She ran a campaign called Hot Girls for Andrew Cuomo. Guys, I'm old enough to remember. Do you guys remember when Andrew Cuomo used to give those addresses on the internet during the pandemic, where Andrew Cuomo would talk about how important vaccines and masks were, like every fucking week? And of course, we've all forgotten about that now because this bitch thinks that Andrew Cuomo is a great idea and that we should be promoting him. And what the fuck? Republicans are such sellouts.
Stopped negotiating with people whose stated end goal is the elimination of Jews. And I stopped entertaining the idea that Israel must earn a legitimacy that every other nation takes for granted. Because let me make myself clear, and it took me a while to figure this out, but better late than never. This is not a dispute over land.
It is actually literally that's what it is.
Against ideology that openly seeks to erase the Jewish people. So the world must hear this clearly. If Israel disappeared tomorrow, the war against Jewish people would not end. Because this is not a war on territory, it's a war on the people, on the faith, and on the values that have allowed the Jewish people to rebuild and thrive. And make no mistake, these values are not exclusively Jewish. They're Western values.
Oh, yeah?
Freedom, individual rights.
I'm sorry, is Israel part of the West? Did I miss the memo where Israel became part of the West? 1 in the chat if you think that Israel is part of the West. 2 in the chat if you think that Israel is part of the East. How is Israel promoting Western values? Israel is not a part of the West. Israel is literally in the middle fucking East. Israel does not promote Western values, you stupid blonde OnlyFans whore.
And make no mistake, these values are not exclusively Jewish. They're Western values. Freedom, individual rights, democracy, capitalism, the belief that human dignity does not come from the state. These are the very foundations that extremists, both abroad and here at home, are committed to dismantling. We see this in the romanticization of failed ideologies. Communism killed tens of millions under Stalin, and authoritarian socialism turned Venezuela once.
Does anyone remember when we watched a documentary on my channel about the kibbutz system? The kibbutz system in Israel? Was it 1 in the chat if you were here when we watched the whole documentary about Israel's kibbutzes? 2 in the chat if you don't know what I'm talking about. Because we did this a while ago. What was this? Maybe like 6 months ago or something like that? 6, 7 months ago, we watched a whole fucking documentary about the Israeli kibbutz system. Okay, lots of 2s. Well, let's just do a too long didn't read. For those of you who remember the documentary, what is the distinctive feature about the Israeli kibbutz system that makes it relevant to this discussion? What type of society is the Israeli kibbutz system? Does anyone remember? Yeah, kibbutz means communist fucking commune. The kibbutzes are communist. They don't even have, they actually raise the kids communally. The kids don't even live with their parents on the kibbutz system. It's all communal. The kibbutz system is communist. So don't fucking tell me Israel are the protectors of fucking capitalism. They literally have a whole fucking communist system in their country called kibbutzes.
These are the very foundations that extremists, both abroad and here at home, are committed to dismantling. We see this in the romanticization of failed ideologies. Communism killed tens of millions under Stalin, and authoritarian socialism turned Venezuela, once one of the wealthiest nations in Latin America, into a humanitarian tragedy. Yet somehow, incredibly, we still hear voices in America praising these systems, importing their rhetoric and attempting to smuggle those failed ideas into our politics. People flee these collapsing countries to seek opportunity here. And then some of their chosen leaders attempt to recreate the very systems that destroyed the nations they left. And no,
you just went to her profile to find pictures of her tits, didn't you? I know what happened. I was talking about her boobs and Amalek's like, what's going on? And now Amalek's discovering other things on her profile that aren't her tits, but we all know why you're there, bro. Don't worry about it.
Nowhere is this clearer than in my home, New York City. We're facing an election where a self-proclaimed socialist like Zoran Mamdani, a man who advocates for defunding the police, weakening public safety, and dismantling the very institutions that keep our communities secure, he is being elevated as a serious voice, potentially the future mayor of the biggest city in the world. Just think about the absurdity of that. People who escaped those countries ruined by authoritarianism and lawlessness, only to then empower leaders here that want to bring those failures to America's largest city. This is how great cities fall. This is how societies unravel. Not because the enemies are strong, but because we allow bad ideas to take root at home. So here's the lesson that I've learned in the past year. Strength works. Clarity works. And when I stopped explaining and started standing firm, something remarkable happened. Even people who disagreed with me began to respect me.
No
They
one
may not
respects
share
you,
my
bro.
conclusions, but they
No one
recognize
respects you, you
conviction.
dumb bitch.
They recognize when someone speaks from principle instead of fear. And they respond to that. So tonight, I want to speak directly to everyone in this room. This is not a moment for qualifiers. This is not a moment for I support Israel, but, or I support America,
don't support Israel.
But. Those days are gone.
I don't support Israel.
We do not apologize
no
for defending the
qualifiers.
safety of our people. We do not apologize for standing with the only democracy in the Middle East. And we do not apologize for refusing to negotiate with those who celebrate murder, reject coexistence, hate America, and seek the destruction of an entire nation of people. Our community has always survived by refusing to bow down to intimidation. We have endured exile, persecution, attempts to erase us from history, and yet every time we come back stronger. Today is no different than the past. We will defend our values, we will protect our community, and we will continue to speak the truth clearly, forcefully, and unapologetically, because if we don't, then who will? Thank you.
All right. Deeply motivating, deeply motivating. Let's watch Lindsey Graham. Oh God, there's me. Oh God, there's me without makeup. Don't look at that. Let's watch Lindsey Graham. How about that?
Thank you. So many people have told me that they love me. And I want to tell you, I love me as much as you, if not more. But I do appreciate it. How many of you people know who Shecky Green is? Well, you're about to get some of that. So anyway, if you're looking for an intellectual discussion of the U.S.-Israel relationship, that comes with Dave McCormick Speaks later on. But I just want to make it really clear, I'm in the Hitler sucks wing of the Republican Party.
Wow. Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave, Tinkerbell. Stunning and brave.
What is this Hitler shit? I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, Lindsey Graham is drunk.
Here's what I do know. You can sit in a basement with weird people and say weird things. It's a free country, right? But if you ever run for office as a Republican and you embrace this weird shit, we're going to beat your brains out.
Oh, yeah? Oh, you're going to beat our brains out, Lindsey? You can try, motherfucker.
If you're an anti-Semite and you think because somebody loves Israel, their brain is wired, that means you got a brain. Nothing wrong with your brain. We will meet you on the battlefield of political discourse.
All right.
And we will beat you politically.
You got it.
I want the world to know anti-Semitism, anti-Israel rhetoric, anti-Israel thought is not the road to being elected as a Republican. You will lose.
Okay. You are not allowed to be anti-Israel and be a Republican. You will lose. All right. That's fine. That's fine. I don't ever have to vote for any Republican ever again because I am not voting for people who are pro-Israel, Tinkerbell. Again?
And we will beat you as wired. That means you got a brain. Nothing wrong with your brain. We will meet you on the battlefield of political discourse, and we will beat you politically. I want the world to know anti-Semitism.
Listen, Amalek, can we have a conversation? Can we have a conversation, just you, me, and the internet? You got to stop doing this. You have to stop being a Democrat. You have to stop. Because like, it's just like, it undermines everything that is good about you. It undermines how incredibly intelligent you are. It undermines all the funny things you say and do. It undermines how devastatingly handsome you are. It undermines everything, Amalek. Please stop saying you're a Democrat. I can't fucking handle this, bro. It's not fair.
Anti-Israel rhetoric, anti-Israel thought is not the road to being elected as a Republican. You will lose.
He doubles down.
So now we got that out of the way. Speaking of great friends of American Israel, your new ambassador, Ambassador Leiter, is a great man. You're doing a good job. After Ron Dermer, the bar was low, you jumped over it. So He lost his son in Gaza.
You know what?
God bless you and your...
I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Trump, you asshole. I voted for Nick Fuentes. You're just mad because you don't like Nick either. Because you guys are fighting. And you really shouldn't be. Nick and Amalek just need to make up.
Family. You're just a great, great man.
I voted for Nick.
Ron
I
Dermer.
absolutely
How many of you
voted for
think
Nick.
Ron Dermer would be a great prime minister one day? I'm giving the first shekel to your campaign. But I want Bibi to hear I said one day, because if he thinks you're going to run soon, you're going to be ambassador to Gaza. So what's life going to be like without Ron Dermer at the helm? I can't even envision that, but I can say this, he'll never go away. In all seriousness, of all the people who've ever served the Jewish state, from generals to prime ministers to people of every stripe, no one has done a better job than you, Ron. Nobody. No general, no prime minister, nobody has fought harder for the Jewish state, more consistently for the Jewish state than Ron Dermer. Nobody. And every great Jewish person comes from Miami Beach, so I like your chances. So Halloween with Jewish people in Las Vegas is scary to some, but I'm enjoying the hell out of it. So I've been asked 1,000 times about this crazy interview. I keep telling people, we're good. Our party is good, right, Dave? We're real good. You know, somebody said, how hard is it to stand up for the Jewish state? In South Carolina, not so hard. We figured out at Israel's, if you ask me, you go to college, and you ask me a question, why do we spend so much money on Israel, and don't you think they get us involved in problems, and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
I would say you need to pick up a history book.
Wow.
And we have no better friend than the state of Israel.
Why?
Everybody who wants to destroy the Jewish state wants to kill us too. I've been to Israel a bunch. No one has yet said death to America while I've been there.
They spit
They
on
want to buy me
Christians
a
in
beer,
Israel.
but nobody says death to America. All the terrorists you're killing, Ron, is one less terrorist that can get here.
Hey, thanks, Pablo.
Common
Appreciate it.
values and common enemies. And if you don't get that, you should not be allowed to drive. So what to do about Hamas? Kill them off.
Stunning and brave.
Kill them off. You know why I don't have a pet tiger? There is no such thing as a pet tiger. Remember Siegfried and Roy? We're down to Siegfried. So they had the tigers, and they loved the tigers, and apparently the tigers they thought loved them. They had Cleo, their favorite tiger. He lived at the house. They were teaching him to drive. And one night, for some unknown reason, he ate Roy. He's a tiger. Hamas is dedicated to the destruction of the Jewish state. They're dedicated to killing everybody that disagrees with them religiously in their own faith, and they're never going to change. So let's get on with it. Let's make sure they can't survive and come back and do October the 7th. Now, I'm glad we got the hostages back.
Amalek
God
and I are
bless
running
that
for president
deal.
now?
I'm glad we got a ceasefire, but I'm worried that Hamas is not going to play the game the way we thought they would. If you're shocked they're shooting people in the streets,
I'll be the vice. Listen,
you missed a lot. What they did.
Listen, I think this is a great idea. Actually, unironically, I think this is a great idea. Amalek gets to be president and I get to be vice president. And the reason I want to be vice president is the vice president doesn't actually fucking do anything. If vice president of the United States is actually like a really cushy job. You don't have to do anything except occasionally break a tie in the Senate and sit behind the president at the State of the Union. And Amalek's a much better public speaker than I am. And so that's really his role. He needs to be giving the speeches. He needs to be leading the men and all that stuff. And I'm just going to go sit over in the vice president's office and I'm going to hang out all day and I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. And if I want to go do an event, I'll go do an event and I'll take Air Force 2 to go do it. And I think this is a perfect arrangement. Amalek has to do all the work and I do none of the work. And that's it.
Before they got the ceasefire, I just think give
Amalek's
Israel some time But there'll come a point, Ron, where we got to just end this thing. There is no pathway forward in the Mideast as long as Hamas is around. Get them out. Hezbollah. I've never felt more hopeful about Lebanon. We got a Christian president in Lebanon. We got a Sunni prime minister. And half the Shiites in Lebanon want Hezbollah to disarm. Man, we got an opportunity here, but you got to be strong, right? So let's finish Hamas off one way or the other. Let's go to Lebanon and give Hezbollah an offer they can't refuse. And get back to normalizing with Saudi Arabia and leave Iran in the dustbin of history. We can do all that. Speaking of Donald Trump, he said, hey, so he's a great president. If you don't believe me, just ask him.
You're not going to run for office.
What happened with him was we found common ground. I've come to like him, and he likes him, and changed our entire relationship.
It was a beautiful dream for like 2.5 minutes.
But he did the Golan Heights thing. Remember, Ron? He said, I called him up, where you at? I'm with Bibi on the Golan Heights. He said, I didn't know we were in New York. No, that's another Golan Heights. We're over there. He recognized the Golan Heights by tweet because he understood you can't give it back to Syria because they'll use it to kill you. He recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Why? Because if you got a problem with that, take it up with God. He's the guy that did it, not Trump.
Wow.
So I just want to say, I feel good about the Republican Party. I feel good about where we're going as a nation. We're killing all the right people and we're cutting your taxes.
What the fuck?
Trump is my favorite president. We've run out of bombs. We didn't run out of bombs in World War II. So, as a coalition of Republicans, some Baptist, some Jewish, we organize ourselves around principles
we're gonna watch your
that
favorite
we
preacher
love
next.
and we cherish. We love individual freedom. We love entrepreneurship. We love capitalism. We love Israel. We love the idea of Israel. We love the struggle that
Israel is an idea,
been
guys.
involved in. We
Israel
love them,
is
helping
an
them
idea.
because you're helping yourself. So to those who worry about these stupid interviews and far off places,
again, it's like this is an entire conference because Tucker Carlson interviewed Nick
figured it out when it comes to Israel. We understand that Israel is a friend of America to the bitter end. We understand that God blesses those who bless Israel. And where I come from, I figured that crap out when I was 6 years old. God bless you. Thank you very much.
God blesses those who bless Israel, guys. All right. I wasn't going to do this one, but because Amalek's hanging out with us, I know Amalek really, 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 really loves Reverend Johnny Moore. This is like one of Amalek's favorite people in the world, and he thinks he's really great. And so I thought we would watch his speech, sucking the cock of Israel. Let's see what happened.
My name is Johnny Moore, and I am a Christian Zionist. I want to thank you for having me here tonight. I know inviting a reverend for Shabbat is a little unorthodox, pun intended. I promise, though, I brought my own wine. Actually, I'm a Baptist, so I brought grape juice. But I'm also not going to try to turn your water into anything tonight. I also promise, as an evangelical Christian, to not try to convert anyone to anything unless you're a Democrat, and then all bets are off.
Own those libs, bro. Oh, no shit.
Actually, if anything,
I didn't even realize this happened.
Thank you.
Holy shit.
As the Jewish community for converting us.
I was just looking on their YouTube page to see what else we should watch. And we're going to watch this speech. Don't get it twisted. I didn't even realize this, though. Douglas Murray did a whole fireside chat at this conference. Do you guys remember Douglas Murray's shameful appearance on Joe Rogan, where he actually lost in a debate to Dave Smith? And again, I don't like Dave Smith, but like Douglas Murray came across as an entitled, pompous jackass. Apparently, he did a whole fireside chat at this conference the other day. All right, we'll watch that next. Let's go back to Reverend Johnny, though, for now.
Us. Because every blessing in my Christian life is the byproduct of your Jewish religion, your culture, your history.
Every blessing in my Christian life is a byproduct of your Jewish religion. Amalek, if you aren't helping Adam to make a whole clip reel of this conference, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, bro. I really don't. Like, this is like one of the greatest gifts that you and Adam Green have ever been given. Again, please.
I'm here to thank you as the Jewish community for converting us. Because every blessing in my Christian life is the byproduct of your Jewish religion,
wow,
your culture, your history, and your values. It's a real honor tonight to share this evening with you, to break bread on Shabbat with friends who've become like family, at a moment when both our communities face a choice between courage and comfort, between standing firm and standing down. Tonight, we read Lech Lecha, go forth. 2 words that changed history. God tells Abraham, leave everything you know and everyone you trust, every comfort you possess. Go to a land that I will show you. And Abraham just went. No GPS, no guarantee, no backup plan, just faith in God. The audacity to believe that God's promises are strong enough to get him where he needed to go. As Rabbi Sachs reminds us, Abraham is influence without power. He ruled no empire. He commanded no great army. He performed no miracles. He proclaimed no prophecy. And yet he changed the world because he was prepared to be different. And I stand before you tonight as a Christian reading a Jewish text. And I'm struck by how precisely these ancient words speak to our present moment. Lech Lecha isn't just Abraham's story, it's our story. It's the story of every Jew who refused to cower to anti-Semitism. The story of every Zionist who said next year in Jerusalem when it seemed impossible. The story of evangelicals like myself, of Christian Zionists who decided that silence in the face of evil is never an option.
Where have I heard that before? Where have I heard that before? Hang on. Silence equals death. I'm sorry, where have I heard before the idea that silence is violence? Where have I heard that before? Let me take you back to the ACT UP movement. The ACT UP movement was a far-left queer radical movement in the late 80s and early 90s that was specifically designed to pressure Ronald Reagan into talking about the AIDS epidemic. This is the iconic poster from the ACT UP movement that is literally in the Brooklyn Museum today. We're on the Brooklyn Museum's website, and it has a pink triangle because the pink triangle, whether it's right side up or upside down, is a symbol of queer Marxism, and it says silence equals death. This is where the idea of silence equals violence comes from. That's where this comes from. So when we go back to Reverend Johnny here, what did he just say?
Anti-Semitism. The story of every Zionist who said next year in Jerusalem when it seemed impossible. The story of evangelicals like myself, of Christian Zionists who decided that silence in the face of evil is never an option.
Silence in the face of evil is never an option. That kind of sounds like silence equals violence to me. Almost like all of these people behave like leftists.
See, going forth means leaving comfort. The comfort of what everyone thinks, to embrace the conviction of what God actually says. It means to stand with Israel, even if the UN vote is 150 to 1. It means calling evil by its name when the world calls it context. It means saying never again and actually meaning it when it costs you something. You know, I'm proud to be an evangelical for many reasons, but especially for this. When the world told us to quiet down about Israel, we went forth and we shouted louder. When October 7th happened, and the equivocators began their gymnastics, they're still doing it, by the way, we went forth immediately, unequivocally, and unapologetically. And thank God we have a president of the United States who understands leha. When everyone said the embassy couldn't be moved to Jerusalem, President Trump said, "Watch me." When the foreign policy establishment said peace was impossible, he delivered the Abraham Accords. When Iran menaced the entire region and the world, he acted with clarity and with strength. When Iran's nuclear facilities stood...
So what he's saying right now is we went to war with Iran on behalf of Israel because Israel fucking wanted us to. Goro over on Rumble with the $5 Rumble rant. I went to San Francisco and there were posters in the windows that says silence is violence or white silence is violence. Poorly made protesters, not NGO funded. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? You saw that in San Francisco. I believe you.
There, they ended up obliterated. A failed terrorist regime humiliated. That's what leha looks like when the world's most powerful nation chooses moral courage over conventional wisdom. Our president, he doesn't fret about the cocktail party circuit where I live in Washington, D.C. He just gets the job done every single time. But you know, God doesn't just tell us to go. He also promises to bless us along the way. Genesis 12:3, which you read this weekend, is a verse that every evangelical knows by heart. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. This is not poetry, it's theology. We don't stand with Israel because it's convenient. Often it isn't. We don't stand with Israel because it's easy. Rarely is it. We stand out of conviction because your book is our book. Your heroes are our heroes, and your values are our values.
Oh, yeah? Amlek, you're taking notes here, right? Your book is our book. Your heroes are our heroes, and your values are our values. Therefore, ergo, Christians are obligated to support Israel because your book is our book. Your heroes are our heroes, and your values are our values. Again, sir.
Stand with Israel because it's convenient. Often it isn't. We don't stand with Israel because it's easy. Rarely is it. We stand out of conviction because your book is our book. Your heroes are our heroes, and your values are our values.
Kind of sounds like propaganda to me.
The equation is really quite simple. When America blesses Israel and remains the best home for the Jews outside of Israel itself, then America will be blessed. The U.S.-Israel partnership, it's not only about America's interests, it's the secret to our success. So what does going forth mean for us tonight? First, it means when anti-Semitism surges on campuses, we go forth together, defending Jewish students, demanding accountability, refusing to let hatred infect a generation. We stop taking universities at their word. We stop giving. We demand accountability and change. It also means that when the UN becomes a weapon against Israel, that we go forth together. We expose the hypocrisy. We defund the dysfunction. Because for too long, American taxpayers have subsidized a system that has become the world's engine for white-collar anti-Semitism under the profane banner of humanitarianism. Enough is enough. And I have to say, this is personal to me. Because this summer, the UN was letting food rot in Gaza. So we went forth through the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. We delivered nearly 200 million meals to the people of Gaza. Hamas didn't steal one truck. And when those UN trucks stalled, and those bureaucrats found microphones faster than solutions, revealing their secret hatred, not only for all the Jews in the world, but also America, we just kept feeding people every single day. We didn't ask permission, we didn't wait for approval, and we certainly didn't care one bit what the Secretary General of the United Nations thought. Because Hamas was stealing food from children, so we fed them. And I have to tell you, our work was not without a cost.
Saved the Gazan children. Totally,
we
bro. You saved the
12
Palestinian
brave
children.
Local Gazan aid workers.
Definitely happened.
We lost countless bits and pieces of reputations garnered over a lifetime because of profane lies. We had several Americans that were injured by Hamas grenades. My own family faced threats. Some continue to this day. But when terrorists and their enablers oppose you, it means you're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because GHF not only saved lives, it helped create the conditions for the hostages to come home and for victory over terror to draw closer. And also, I should say that when universities buckle, some institutions stand firm. I'm honored to be a part of Pepperdine University's unwavering stand against anti-Semitism. This semester, we launched a new master's degree in Middle East policy studies in Washington, D.C., with not a dime of foreign funding and full scholarships to attract the best students. And by the way, in our Christian community, where anti-Semitism wasn't tolerated in the first place. I'm proud to be here tonight.
Unbelievable, honestly. Thanks, Kyle, for the super chat. I have reliable sources that we are not sending food when we constructed that pier in Gaza. Yeah, indeed. Appreciate the super chat.
Tell you that our Christian university, the highest ranked Protestant school in America, that the majority of our first cohort of Middle East study students are Jewish students, because that's what friendship looks like in practice.
Yeah, they're all Jews. I know, I'm shocked by this revelation.
Going forth is the 750,000 evangelical Christians that give every single year to help the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews help the people of Israel all over the world. You know,
oy vey.
Abraham didn't know where he was going, but he knew who was sending him. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we know both. We know where we're going, toward an America that leads from strength, not apology. An America where our flag means something, and our word counts for something, and our values aren't for sale. An America where Israel can rest in its security, where Jewish students can wear their kippah without fear, where Jerusalem remains undivided and recognized as Israel's eternal capital. And we also know who sends us. It's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The God who keeps his promises. The God who chose a people and gave them a land and told the rest of us that how we treat them will determine how we're treated and how we're remembered. Senator Scott knows this. Senator Graham knows this. And President Trump has proven again and again that he knows it too, better than anyone. That's why America is back. That's why Israel's enemies are on their heels. That's why our friends sleep better at night and our enemies fear to close their eyes. So, on this Shabbat, as you read about Abraham's courage, remember, his courage is our inheritance. We didn't choose to be born in a time when going forth would be required as it is today, but here we are. The call has already come. The only question is whether we'll answer. But I'm here to tell you tonight that evangelicals have answered the call. We've already gone forth. We will not turn back. 700 million of us worldwide. So let's go forth together. Because here's what I can promise you. You will never be alone with us around. never afraid, never apologetic. We will be proud Christians and proud Jews, staring down the darkness, daring evil to try us, as we light candles from here to Tel Aviv and from Washington to Jerusalem, with the light that has guided the world since creation. Together, unstoppable, faithful to God and to each other. So may God bless America. May God bless Israel.
Right.
May God bless this partnership with no force on earth will break. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, motherfucker. Shabbat Shalom. All right, guys, we are going to watch one more thing for tonight. We are going to watch Douglas Murray's little fireside chat that he had. Now, I want to remind everyone, we are about 7 o'clock Eastern time. I can't believe it's been that late already. I want to remind everyone that we are doing movie night tonight in my supporter Discord. We will be watching Reservoir Dogs in my supporter Discord at 8 p.m. Eastern time, which is one of the greatest fucking movies ever made, and you will never convince me otherwise. If you want to join my supporter Discord, become a YouTube channel member, become a supporter on my Substack. You could also be a supporter on my Locals, my Patreon, my Twitter. I will be sending, but my Substack or my YouTube channel membership is my preferred method if you want to do that. I am going to send out a link to the supporter Discord on both YouTube and Substack right now. So it'll be posted within the next 5 minutes or so. So if you look at the community tab on YouTube for supporters, you will find a link for my supporter Discord. And I will be sending out a link via the chat in my main Substack, karlyn.substack.com. So people will be able to find it there. If you are a supporter on another platform, let me know and I will post the link there. It's not a problem. I just don't do it the same. I just don't post it everywhere every week because I have less supporters on some platforms than others. So I'll be sending out that link momentarily. And we will enjoy this final little clip from the shit show that was the Jewish Republican Coalition. And we're going to see what Douglas Murray had to say. Personally, I'm a little confused about why Douglas Murray is even speaking here, because Douglas Murray is not American. So why in the ever-loving fuck is Douglas Murray even at this event, being that he is not American? Oh, he's a rabid Zionist. Oh, all that's required to be in the Republican Jewish Coalition is that you're a rabid Zionist. You don't even need to be American in order to be in the Republican Jewish Coalition. Wouldn't you wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? So let's see what he had to say, and I'm going to send out the link to my Discord while we're doing that.
This is your final event of the evening, and we are all so privileged to have Douglas Murray. Douglas, thank you so much for being here. And we're going to make this very interesting. If it gets a little slow, we may call Lindsay up. Is Lindsay still here?
Lindsey
He's gone
Graham
to the after party. Yeah, Lindsay's already off to the after party. Douglas, you have been such a voice of moral clarity. There's probably no one who has written as thoughtfully about the origins of anti-Semitism, what's happened over the last several years with the horrible attack on Israel. And you wrote a great book, On Democracies and Death Cults, which is a bestseller. We met last year at this RJC, and a lot has happened since then. Most notably, the ceasefire, the hostages returned. Are we done? Is the war over?
Well, first of all, can I just say what a pleasure it is to be back with you, and what a pleasure it is for me to be back with the RJC. Until Lindsey Graham got up, I didn't realize it was open mic night at the RJC, but clearly it is, and it's a difficult act for us to follow. I've also spent enough time in Israel now, I think have become slightly Jewish. I noticed that on the way in, I kept standing up whilst other people were speaking and going to talk at other tables and things. So I've got to be forgiving to you if you do it as well, but thank you. I said in a recent piece in the Free Press that there are two wars that actually I wrote about in my book and which I've been writing about and considering for the last 2 years. The first war is the war on the ground, the war that Hamas started on October the 7th, the war that the IDF has been fighting for the last 2 years. And that has been, I mean, let's just take a moment again to recognize the achievements. Unimaginable. even from when we were sitting here this time last year. The last time we were all gathered together.
All right, guys, I just posted the Discord link out to both YouTube channel members and to Substack members. And again, so if you're a paid supporter on either YouTube or Substack, or you got a gifted channel membership or something like that, click on the verification link to come join us in the Discord. You do have to get verified, so just let us know what platform you came from and you'll get verified right up. We will be starting movie night in about an hour, and we'll be watching Reservoir Dogs, and it's going to be awesome. So if you've never joined us for a movie night before, now is going to be a great time to join.
Here in Las Vegas was before the first anniversary of October the 7th. And just consider that what Yahya Sinwar started on the 7th led up till now to the decimation of Hamas in Gaza, the death of Sinwar and all of his colleagues who started this war, the decimation of Hezbollah, the opportunity of the IDF and the IAF to operate everywhere in the region where they needed to operate, and for the IAF and for the American Air Force to be able to fly over the skies of Iran anytime they wanted. This is a generational achievement, and it's down to the political leadership in Israel, the political leadership we've seen here in America, and the extraordinary men and women of the IDF. And that story is one that you will know about. Many people in the wider world don't know enough about yet. But the second war is the war here at home in America, the war in the rest of the West, the war that goes on wherever in the last 2 years I've gone when I haven't been in Israel, whether it's been here in America or back in my country of birth in Great Britain or in France or Canada or Australia. It doesn't matter where in the world you go. You find these lunatics on the streets, not just on the campuses, on the streets of major cities. You can go to Melbourne on a Saturday afternoon and you'll find thousands of Australians chanting their opposition to the state of Israel and their support for various terrorists. And what are you doing? You're in Melbourne. What's it got to do with you? You're miles away. What
you
is
said
it
to
that has
DM
gone
on Substack, Goro? Okay, I'll
outside
check it
of the
right now.
Middle
Hang on.
East? My fear is that although Israel's been winning the war in the region, in the rest of the West, particularly here in America, to some extent, we've been losing.
I don't see you as a DM on Substack, Goro.
By the fact that we've seen the mainstreaming of support, not for Palestinians or for Palestinian statehood, but for Hamas. Why is it that at Princeton you have a group chanting the other month, "Glory to our martyrs"? Our martyrs. Princeton. What's our doing there? What's martyrs? Since when did students going up to Princeton have the hots for Hamas? When did this start? This is for me the problem we need to address.
You know, I saw this.
We must control what the Ivy Leagues thinks and says.
University of Pennsylvania. I saw it at the University of Pittsburgh, where a kid that had my shirt, McCormick for Senate, and an Israel flag was assaulted. And it was so shocking as a non-Jew after October 7th, knowing anti-Semitism existed, but never imagining the depth and the vitriol. So you've written about this. What's the root cause? Where did we go wrong? How did this happen?
Well, my view has always been that anti-Semitism and anti-Israelism are just the furthest flank of anti-Westernism.
What?
This has been mentioned already tonight, but I came up with this formulation a while ago. I think I mentioned this last year. I borrowed from the great Russian Soviet writer.
Guys, now not only are we communist apparently if we don't support Israel, we are also anti-Western if we don't support Israel, according to Douglas Murray. And didn't another guy basically tell us that we're anti-American if we don't support Israel too? Isn't that funny? That's like the funniest one of all. So we are pro-communism, anti-Western, anti-American if we don't support Israel, according to these people.
Vasily Grossman, where he says in the middle of Life and Fate, tell me what you accuse the Jews of, I'll tell you what you're guilty of. It's a brilliant observation by him, where he says the anti-Semite tells us nothing about the Jews, they just tell us something about themselves. So, you know, the Nazis said that the Jews were racists who wanted to take over the world. You think, interesting. Take any group throughout history, and right up to the present day, whatever they accuse the Jews of and the Jewish state of is what they're guilty of. The Iranian revolutionary government says that the Jewish state is colonizing. Interesting for the citizens of Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, Gaza, etc.
If you are a member if you're a paying supporter on the Substack, Leanne, you will find it in the chat section. So go to karlyn.substack.com, click on chat, and I just sent it out to supporters on there. So that's where you'll find it.
But in our countries in the West, there's a slight shift on this, which I say, tell me what you accuse the Jews of, if you're like an American student. Tell me what you accuse the Jewish state of in particular, and I'll tell you what you've been taught that you are guilty of. I wrote 2 books back in the War on the West. If you look at the things that young Americans are being taught from grade school upwards, it's not just the universities, it's too easy in a way to focus on that. Just look at what American kids are taught about their own history here in America. It's what Elon Musk some time ago said to Bill Maher is the woke mind virus, which is, he said to a friend's kid, what do you know about Thomas Jefferson? Answer, slave owner. Anything else? No. That's the virus. And that's something that has been inculcated into the minds of young Americans, young Canadians, young Australians, is that they've been taught that even if you're born in the 21st century, you're guilty of white supremacy, you're guilty of colonialism, you're guilty of genocide, you're guilty of ethnic cleansing. And as I said in the War on the West, there's nothing you can do if you've been taught you're guilty of this, because you haven't done anything. All that's happened is you've been told you've got guilt for something you didn't do. And as I said in that book, something will happen as a result of this.
I don't know, man. Call me crazy, but I don't think telling Americans that they should feel guilty over slavery, which happened before any of us was born, is quite the same thing as saying that Israelis shouldn't feel guilty over stealing land from the Palestinians, which they have all done in this lifetime. In during our lifetimes, that's happened. It's not really quite the same thing, but it's a convenient comparison to make for someone who's trying to deflect the bad behavior of a certain country that we are all apparently required to support for reasons past my understanding. None of us were alive when slavery happened. All of these people have been alive since Israel has been stealing land and appropriating it for their own use from the Palestinians. That's happened in our fucking lifetimes. So it's not the same thing, Douglas.
Because you cannot live with an unalleviatable guilt, something that can never be forgiven. And so how has it exploded in our time? And I'm not talking here about the hardcore Islamists and others who live in our societies, but for what would have been normal kids, it's that for many of them, we shouldn't exaggerate, but for many of them, it's that they have this orgiastic glee in being able to accuse another country now of all the things that they have been taught that they have inherited guilt for. They will expiate their
Israel is
guilt
the
by saying
the
Jewish state is committing genocide. The Jewish state is white supremacist, showing they've never walked down an Israeli street.
Wow.
They will say all of these things about Israel, and it's almost with relief. It's the same thing you hear in Europe. You can hear in Germany, in Austria, where I was last week, the joy that some Europeans have in being able to accuse the Jewish state of genocide, means we don't have any guilt.
Yeah. So for those of us here in the audience that are in public life, governors or senators, what should we do? What is the way that we address the course correction on the second battle, the second war?
I think there's several things. One is that for Jewish Americans in particular, I say not being Jewish myself, but I can only give a piece of advice on this, is never to tolerate things that other groups wouldn't tolerate. And I grew up in England. The Jewish community is different in England than it is here. And the Jewish community in America has always been much more vocal, much more proud, much more willing to put its head above the parapet and be counted. But still, as I've said for the last couple of years, tell me that if for instance, I live in New York, but if a Columbia University or some other university in New York, once a black student had been chased across campus by a group of actual white supremacists saying, "Go back to where you came from," don't tell me that this country wouldn't have been in uproar. And we would have been rightly in uproar.
Yeah.
And we would have stood beside our black brothers and sisters and said, "We are with you." And if once some sexual minority that had happened to, let alone for 2 years, this would have been wall-to-wall coverage on every network. So why is it that when it's Jewish kids being chased down the streets and insulted and Jewish families being made to feel threatened, people get used to it? And so that's the first thing, is just not putting up with the double standards that many Jews are expected to put up with in America, and thankfully I think people in this room don't. But the second thing is, I think we need to get out this very clear message that, again, as somebody mentioned earlier, they're just always related. The anti-Semitism, the anti-Israelism, and the anti-Westernism. I have a sort of shortcut to this. You just mentioned it there.
Again, doubling down. You are anti-Semitic and anti-Western if you don't support Israel. Okay.
But go to any anti-Israel protest in this country and go to any pro-Israel protest in this country and notice one glaring difference. The pro-Israel protest will have happy people, by the way, generally, you'll notice, happy people flying the flag of the State of Israel and the flag of this country. Go to an anti-Israel protest and they will be flying the flag of the Palestinians, they will be flying the flag maybe of Hamas or of Hezbollah or the Iranian Revolutionary Government. They will not be flying an American flag. In fact, if there is an American flag there, it's only there so they can put it on the floor and burn it. This tells us quite a lot. We sang tonight, Hatikva and the Star-Spangled Banner. Find me the anti-Israel protest in America where they would sing the national anthem of America. And the same thing goes in every country. Find the anti-Israel protesters in the UK who, after they've screamed jihad, jihad, all get together and sing God Save the King. It doesn't happen. Go to Canada and you find the Hamasniks and the Hezbollah lovers and all the people who worship all these people who are now dead. If they're protesting in Toronto or Ottawa, they never stop at the end and say, "Oh, hey guys, let's all stop and sing Oh Canada." It doesn't happen. And that tells us everything.
Yeah. So let's go back to the first war. So are you optimistic? What does Gaza look like in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? Is there another Abraham Accords 2? How do you see the future?
It would be a very unwise person to make a prediction about Gaza, not least because of Ron Dermer and other people being present who know much more. I would just say this. I was enormously encouraged when President Trump broke the Overton window on Gaza, and have been very encouraging of his statements on this. And let me just say quickly why. Until the president earlier this year started expressing, let's say, innovative new opinions about what could be done with Gaza. There was a status quo opinion which was completely intolerable, which was the presumption, which again, if you go to the chancelleries of Europe, you will still hear, which is after the war, Gaza must be rebuilt, preferably with our taxpayer money, and a Hamas-like entity will probably end up being in charge, and an UNRWA-like entity will end up running the education system, and we'll all pay our taxpayer dollars to rebuild it, and then they'll probably do another October the 7th, and in about 10 years, the IDF will have to go in and smash it up again. That is a totally nihilistic, impossible, pointless and futile policy, which you will still find policymakers in Paris and London and Berlin talking
This guy
about.
is such trash.
But there's no point to it.
And it sucks too, because like when I first started waking up to what the left was doing, what book did I read? The Madness of Crowds. The Madness of Crowds was one of the first books I read. And The Madness of Crowds is a great introduction to some of this stuff. But it's like now I look at Douglas Murray and I'm like, fuck, this guy has literally always been a massive fucking fraud. He was a fraud. Dave Rubin was a fraud. Almost every single person who is pushing back on cancel culture is a total and complete fraud because they're all pushing it now. Konstantin Kisin is a total and complete fraud. All the classical liberals are total and complete fucking frauds. It's like, bro.
Myself, like
the entire conservative establishment is literally fake and gay. Yeah, I was just gonna say this. The entire and he's literally gay. The entire conservative establishment is literally fake and fucking gay.
many of you, in fact, all of you, I'd have thought, I never want to see another young Israeli have to go into Gaza with a gun. I don't see why this should be Israel's responsibility. And when President Trump said, you know, we'll clear Gaza, or we'll let people leave, or we'll buy Gaza, or we don't have to buy it, we can just take it, or we'll, you know, make it Las Vegas or whatever, I don't care. Any and all ideas that do not involve the perceived status quo just happening again and again, to my mind, are good. And if the Trump plan can come about, if obviously, you know, the Board of Peace has got a bit of fleshing out still to be done, but I'm told that there are lots of people in the region who want to be on it. I'm thrilled that President Trump has said that he will lead it, because it shows his commitment to this,
Absolutely.
his ongoing commitment. And so we'll see. But this should be, among other things, a time for all those other countries in the region which pretend that they care about the Palestinians to show up and take some responsibility. This is their time.
This is the test, yeah. But Ron and I were just talking about how only Trump could have brought all these forces together because of those relationships, and they don't want to disappoint him. You know, one of the things, my wife and I have gone to Israel a number of times, but several times in the last 2 years. The thing that always strikes me is when I'm there, the facts on the ground, and then I come back to the United States, the narrative is almost entirely different. And most notably on humanitarian aid. So we went and sat down with the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. We saw the plans, the efforts to make sure that humanitarian assistance was going to women and children in Gaza, the efforts, the danger people put themselves in. And we came back, and that narrative is completely unknown and misrepresented by the media here in the United States.
Wait. Hang on. Breaking news. We need to switch gears for a second and watch this clip of James Lindsay real quick, just because I want to see what it says.
Camp of people, right? You got jet lagged like crazy coming out from Israel, but then you got Peter Thiel. And
For people who don't know, James Lindsay literally went to Israel and kissed the wall like last week with Billboard Chris. So James Lindsay was jet lagged on his way back.
Thiel
to
is
Israel.
kind of running in this same camp of people, right? Now he's, of course, all concerned about the Antichrist, and we can either have Antichrist or Armageddon, or maybe we can have a third system, you know, a third thing we create. And he's running in that crowd. So it seems as though once again, people with bigger agendas are buying up so-called Christianity, a segment of Christianity, a segment of evangelicalism, a segment of the Protestant world. They're buying up the conservative area for a bigger agenda. And I don't know where J.D. Vance is going to come down in all this, but I'm a little more concerned about his relationship with Peter Thiel. He was asked last night about Palantir and all that at Ole Miss in about an hour and 10 minutes where I'm sitting right now. It seemed like a lot of the questions, I'm told by the young 20-somethings in our control room, that a lot of the questions last night to J.D. Vance were coming from Nick Fuentes people. Those are Nick questions, the kind of things Nick talks about. And if that is, again, an indication of how much Nick is penetrating the young college students, we're in big trouble. But J.D. Vance is going to have to also pick a side here very quickly, because I hear a lot of people that are about ready to be done with J.D. Vance after he's no longer Trump's vice president. What are your thoughts?
I'm hearing exactly the same thing. And again, I agree. What I think people need to understand about these activities, you said a lot of these young people coming in and commenting are Nick Fuentes questions, or Nick Fuentes people, maybe. Well, I need people to understand that the left did the same thing. The queer theorists in particular, but the BLM people also, kind of both of those again, another scissor, arms of the leftist woke movement. What they would do is when people, especially the Democrats or whatever, would have a major event, they would make sure that they would have their people go and that their people would line up as early as possible.
Are you fucking shitting me? Are you fucking shitting me? James's argument is that the Groypers are literally leftists because they went to a university event where they are students and they ask questions. Guys, asking questions literally makes you a communist, according to the brain trust of the classical liberal fucking internet.
The people who ask a question, and then they would ask a very destabilizing question. They would inject their radical politics as a kind of strategic resistance or whatever to attack the person on stage. Well, that in queer theory is called queering. When you take something and you inject queer theory into it, they call
it. No, James. No, that's not what queering means, James. Queering means you're being anti-normative or you're undermining the norms that uphold capitalism. Queering does not mean asking a question that conservative Zionists don't fucking like.
a major event, they would make sure that they would have their people go and that their people would line up as early as possible to be one of the people who asks a question, and then they would ask a very destabilizing question. They would inject their radical politics as a kind of strategic resistance or whatever to attack the person on stage. Well, that in queer theory is called queering. When you take something and you inject queer theory into it, they call it queering. They take the word queer and turn it into a verb. Well, Nick Fuentes calls this activity groyping after his movement, which he has named the Groypers, Groyper. It's named after a cartoon frog. It takes a lot to explain how stupid this is. It's very internet. But anyway, to groyp has become a verb, and it means to show up and ask these kinds of, very radical questions, specifically to kind of take the speaker and put them in an awkward position. They did this to Glenn Beck when he spoke at one of these Turning Point activities. This is more proof that Nick Fuentes is attacking Turning Point. He says that just the other day that the groyping of Turning Point events will continue. So he's sending these people. What proportion of young people, what proportion of the crowd they are is very unclear, because the goal is to make it look like they're a large segment of the audience by putting them up on the question. But maybe that's just a few. When Glenn Beck did it, they then take the video, they make it look like Glenn Beck didn't know how to answer, even though he did, and they try to embarrass him and make it look like they're a cultural force. The left did this as well. But Glenn actually answered splendidly. Other people dug that up and showed it. And once they saw that, Glenn gave these great answers, the crowd erupts like their team won the Super Bowl. So I don't know how endemic this actually is, or how much of it is an image being created by a manipulation of the media space, which is a technique we should be familiar with from Antifa, BLM, and the queer theorists that we've been dealing with for 5 or 10 years. But it's concerning. You have literally the vice president of the United States being put on the spot by 18-year-olds who've been radicalized online with awkward questions that allege blood libels against the Jews. This is a serious situation, no matter how you cut it.
Wait, did James just say the questions the Groypers are asking are blood libel against the Jews?
Who've been radicalized online with awkward questions that allege blood libels against the Jews. This is a serious situation.
James Lindsay just said that the Groypers are enacting blood libel against the Jews for asking J.D. Vance questions at an appearance where he was there to answer questions that James Lindsay doesn't like. I cannot even fucking believe this is reality.
Put on the spot by 18-year-olds who've been radicalized online with awkward questions that allege blood libels against the Jews. This is a serious situation, no matter how you cut it.
They all have explosive knee pads. Thanks, Israel. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, James Lindsay's head injury is showing. That's one of the stupidest fucking things I've ever heard someone say. But I'm not remotely surprised that James said it. All right, thank you for allowing me that brief reprieve. Let's go back to Douglas Murray being ridiculous.
It raises the question, does Israel have a PR problem? Does it inaccurately tell its story? And I ask you as one of the great storytellers, someone who really has told the story accurately, but is there an issue there, and what are your reflections on it?
Well, I've sometimes said that Israel is a remarkable country for many reasons, but one is that it has about 8 million potential prime ministers, or would-be prime ministers, which makes it, I admire people in government in Israel for being able to manage that. If that's the case in Israel, however many Jews there are around the world outside of Israel, everybody believes they know how to do Hasbara and moans that the Israelis don't get it, and so on. My view has always been the same, which is I think there are so many talented people who've got the right views, who know what they're talking about, who should just do their own thing. And we've heard from a range of them tonight. You're going to hear from more in the coming days. There is no one answer to the Israel PR problem. But I think there are some things one has to accept from the beginning. One is that numerically in the region, the Israelis are vastly outnumbered. Tiny country, and just compare it to, for instance, Pakistan, which, for all sorts of interesting reasons, produces lots of people who are feverish for the online, often pretending to be American Jews, by the way, putting forth their views on X about how this country or Israel should be run. Just vastly outnumbered in those terms. And that means that there are just certain things, again, with certain newspapers, I won't name names, certain media outlets, I won't name names, but that's just going to be an ongoing problem. And the only hope you can have in some ways is that you can keep exposing it, you can keep revealing how some of the media works on this, the lies they tell. And my sense is, by the way, we shouldn't be too down about this. My experience in this conflict is that the Israeli government and the army has been better at getting out information faster than any conflict I've seen before. And yes, there are still, challenges to getting that out. But you've got to face up to the asymmetry which exists. And get out there with the optimistic, I think, stance that I've always had, which is it doesn't matter if there are 1,000 lies in the room, one truth will pierce them all. And that, I think we've all seen that in our lives, and it works with the media too, and I think there's no reason it shouldn't work with Israel.
Well, lies in the room brings me to sort of the elephant in the room, which is this very week. This very week, you had a avowed anti-Semite.
Here we go again.
Platform.
Here we go again.
Where, this is a guy who says Hitler was cool, has specifically said that Jews should be terminated if
you really do have to hand it to Nick, though. You really do have to hand it to Nick, because a year ago, none of these people would even say Nick Fuentes' name. A year ago, every single person speaking at this conference didn't even want to acknowledge that Nick Fuentes existed. And now they are literally having an entire conference where they are responding to Nick Fuentes talking to Tucker Carlson. And they all have to say his name over and over and over and over and over again. Nick won. Nick Fuentes won, and they lost, and they fucking know it. And this entire event is just crying about the fact that Nick won and they lost.
Of white nationalist leadership, and those views went unchallenged, which a number of people, speakers have talked tonight about this rise of anti-Semitism on the right. What's going on? Is this a little problem, or is this a big problem that's growing?
It's a problem, and if it's not addressed now, it will grow. I would just say to my Republican friends that what was the worst thing that the Democratic Party has done in recent years? Don't shout out. One of them was the tolerance on their own side of slogans like defund the police. A disaster for the Democrats. Moderate Democrats, of which there are some, were so misguided not to hit this on the head when it came up, when the far left lunacy in their party came up. The squad of the Democratic Party is the greatest gift that the Republican Party could have. You have these people who just, 4 people, minor, they shouldn't be making the weather, but what a gift to the Republican Party the squad is. They will keep saying anti-American things, they will keep putting their feet in it, they'll keep riling up most of the country, and they will keep the Democratic Party being able to be portrayed as grabbed by them. Well, it's the same for the Republican Party. If the Republican Party doesn't address its own fetid corners, then the Democrats will have a legitimate way to say, look, you've got this big problem and you're only one step away, or so on. So there's no reason why, I don't need to insult the guy, but why the person you just mentioned's name should be on our lips.
Oh, there it
This
is.
is just...
Why are we even talking about him?
For those of us who know history, there are some people who are simply doing the following intellectual trick. They're reheating a bit of Buchananism, they're reheating some David Irvingism, and they're doing it now, and they're getting away with it for a very specific historic reason. If I could just say what I think that is. They're getting away with it now for the first time from the right because of the fact that...
I could not hate this guy more. I could not hate this guy more. Arrogant, pompous, elitist, looks down on everyone who doesn't agree with him, thinks he's above it all. This is the type of guy that when he holds the teacup, he holds his pinky out. And he just barely touches the teacup because he doesn't want to touch much of the teacup. Because do you guys know why royals hold their finger out when they touch the teacup? It's because the servants touch the teacup, and because they as royals don't want to lower themselves to touch the teacup because the servants... That's fucking Douglas Murray. That's Douglas Murray. This is an arrogant, pompous, elitist douchebag who no one should fucking be listening to because he thinks he's better than everyone. He thinks he knows better than everyone. And by the way, he gets paid to have these opinions. Douglas Murray probably wouldn't be getting paid to have these opinions, or wouldn't be having these opinions, rather, if Israel wasn't fucking paying him to do it.
The generation of Holocaust survivors is basically died out. These people did not dare do this in the face of the immovable object of the survivors of the Shoah. But now, some people to the furthest fringes of the right are seeing the opportunity to do this. All we have to do on the right, you in the Republican Party,
you're not American.
Just hold the line that you all know you can hold, and to say no. Nowhere near us. Nowhere near us. And it's not like it's hard. And the various characters who want to platform these people and think it's edgy and it's cool. There's nothing very edgy or cool about doing that on the right any more than there was on the left. How edgy and cool and admiring do we think of those far leftists who like to play with Castro and Mao and Stalin and all of that? Not at all. It's a rancid, fetid habit from the far left. Same thing with these guys with the right. And no, don't ask this person on and then just say you're just asking questions and give them softball interviews.
You're not allowed to ask to
Anyhow,
say
I don't
you're
know what's
just
gone wrong
asking
with some of these people,
questions.
but I don't think it's going to be hard to counter. As somebody mentioned earlier, I'm still pretty strong on the idea that being anti-Hitler remains mainstream.
So we'll finish up here with two questions. A quick one. You talked about the squad as being the gift that keeps on giving. What about, you're a New Yorker, you live in New York. What about Mamdani? Is that a gift that's going to keep on giving for the Republican Party? Or should we buy or sell New York real estate? What's your...
I mean, it's an amazing thing. I've written this in my column in the New York Post. It's pretty amazing to see Mamdani smarm his way into office, which is what it looks like he's going to do, evading every meaningful question. I'm sorry that so much
I'm
of the
sorry,
opposition
excuse me, what? Zohran Mamdani participated in multiple debates. And listen, I'm not a fan of Zohran Mamdani, but to say that Zohran Mamdani is going to smarm his way into office, no, the reason Zohran Mamdani is going to win is because the Democratic Socialists in New York City organized over 30,000 individual volunteers have been working for him. They organized voter turnout drives. They organized voter registration drives. They went to mosques that had never been campaigned to before. They went into districts in New York that had never been campaigned to before in a New York mayor's race. They raised more money than Andrew Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa combined in the primary, and also, who is the other guy, Eric Adams? They raised more money than all of the other people combined in the fucking primary. That is why Zohran Mamdani is going to win, because the DSA in New York City actually did the work and went out and did politics, where the Republicans sat on their asses and did nothing. The Democrats sat on their asses and did nothing. And now Douglas Murray, who isn't even fucking American, claims he lives in New York, but he's not fucking American, says he is smarming his way into office. No, the reason he's going to win is because they played the game better than all of you, because all of you were too concerned about fucking Israel to pay attention to the election. That is why Zohran is going to win.
Which has only just started to come out. But I mean, as somebody mentioned earlier, you have somebody saying that the NYPD has its boot on the throat of New Yorkers and it's laced by the IDF, even before you get to that anti-Semitic far-left trope about everyone being trained by the IDF. What are you talking about the NYPD like that for? How dare you? These men and women who go into the most dangerous situations all the time, and you're talking about them as if they have their boots on the throats of New Yorkers? Good luck getting the respect of the police in New York after doing that kind of thing. But if he gets in, yes, I predict that he will be extremely useful to the Republican Party in campaigning. He'll be disastrous for those of us who live in New York. And he will, of course, be using it. Any time that the president or anyone else talks about him, he will use it to try to inflate himself and make himself waft up. Look, I mean, I don't think we've ever seen such a major city as New York run by a guy whose CV shows that he was a failed rapper, employed by his mum for a bit, and then mayor of New York. That's quite a
jump.
That's that's a heck of a CV.
Well, let
not been
us,
tried before. Yeah.
Let us end with a question about your reflections of what you've seen. No one spent, you've spent an enormous amount of time in Israel. You've seen the tragedy of what's happened over the last couple years. You've also seen the stories of incredible courage and resilience. Tell us a story. Tell us about someone you encountered or some people you encountered along the way that shows the best of the Jewish people and the hope that we should all have.
Gosh, that's very hard because, as everyone here knows, I mean, Israel, particularly in the last few years, has been a country of just millions and millions of stories, all going on at the same time and at such a heat and passion. And I suppose I mentioned toward the end of the book, I think of a lot of people who I've met and spent time with in the last few years who've had a huge impact on me in lots and lots of different ways. I mentioned earlier the heroes of the IDF, and they can't be mentioned enough. It's extraordinary seeing them at work. I think when I was last here with you, I think we gathered here before the first anniversary of the 7th of October, and after that I was in. I mentioned this to somebody earlier. I was in Israel during Sukkot when the news came through that Sinwar had been killed in Rafah, and I went to Rafah the next day with the battalion who had killed him, and many extraordinary things from that. By the way, just two things, if I may. One is that some of you will know that that battalion, known as the Bizlach, young soldiers, and it seemed that, again, Ron might correct me on this or have information that I don't have, is very likely, but the young men who killed Sinwar and the men with him were not in uniform on October the 7th, 2023. And I think this is a remarkably powerful fact. Imagine that. This man, Sinwar, who said to the crowds in Gaza in 2018, go and invade and tear the hearts out of the Jews. He created not just the generation of Jews who rose up, but the person who sent him to his death. He made them. He created unwittingly the generation of heroes who saw him off. That is one of many stories. I just add another one quickly. For me, as well as the extraordinary men and women of the IDF, I think of all of the remarkable citizens of Israel who need to be mentioned as well. There was that unit, I mentioned this in my book, was unfortunate enough to have been involved in the incident where, you'll remember, 3 hostages were killed in Gaza in December 2023. And I relay in the book that the mother of one of those hostages sent a message to the men in the unit because she knew how down they would be on this.
Hey,
many
Goro,
lives were
if
ruined
you're
that day.
still, hang on.
And she said to them,
Goro, if you're still listening, I did just get your message on Substack. So, hang on. Oh, shit. You are a paid subscriber on Substack. Anyway, thank you, Goro. I did get your message.
I love you. I don't blame you. Be strong. We need you to be strong. And the day after Sinwar was killed in Rafah, somebody from the unit played me the message.
I don't know why
they
it didn't
just
come
got
through the
from
first
same
time. That's
mother,
weird.
who said to them, you see, I told you, you had to be strong, and you did the job you needed to do, and you killed the enemy of Israel. Now this is a remarkable woman. And Israel, when it's been tested in the last couple of years, has been filled with just millions of remarkable stories. Can I finish on a slightly poetic note, but one that's been much on my mind? One of the blessings of my life in recent years is that I probably got more rabbis in my life than anyone has a right to have.
I just
and I
verified you
probably
in
go
Discord,
to
Goro.
synagogue more often than some of you. But I mention this only because I get to learn a lot from the exchanges I have the privilege of having in my life. And a few weeks ago, I was in Baltimore, and I was doing a fundraiser for the kibbutz near Oz, which is a kibbutz that was very badly attacked on the 7th of October. And
Like communism? Because kibbutzes are communist?
It's a wonderful thing to see, and anyone who can support them, please do. And we had 2 families who are going back to the kibbutz, and they're rebuilding. A young family, and also a family included an 80-year-old who had been taken hostage. He's going back to the
coat by
community.
eating Halloween candy.
Anyhow, I was talking with this man who was a former hostage and one of my rabbis, and we got talking about the Torah, and specifically, we mentioned the book of Ecclesiastes, which, as you all know, has a famous and resonant passage that to everything there is a season, a time for everything upon the earth. And the rabbi and I got talking about this thing that I've always noticed, which as a non-Jew has always struck me about the Jewish people, but particularly the Jewish state, which is the way in which sometimes everything feels like it's happening all at once. There was a family here who's had a bat mitzvah of their daughter last year in Israel, which I was at, and I remember it not just because of what a wonderful occasion it was, but because that morning I'd been to the funeral of some soldiers who'd been killed the day before. And I said to this rabbi when we were talking about Ecclesiastes, isn't it extraordinary how in Israel in particular all of this seems to go on at once? And he said, well, do you know Yehuda Amichai's poem about this? And can I just share a bit of this with you? Because this is something I've really learned from my time with the people of Israel. I just read you 2 verses. A man doesn't have time in his life to have time for everything. He doesn't have seasons enough to have a season for every purpose. Ecclesiastes was wrong about that. A man needs to love and to hate at the same moment, to laugh and cry with the same eyes, with the same hands to throw stones and to gather them, to make love in war and war in love. When I think of Israel in the last few years, one of the many things I think is that they have been able to do, the citizens of Israel, all of these things at the same time, and to come through on the other side of it with the hostages home, and to be able to say, after all of this hatred inside the region, but also outside.
Yeah, Israel is the poor oppressed victims of the world, guys. It was really
Ladies
Israel
and
who was
gentlemen, the great
oppressed
Douglas
all
Murray.
along. From day one, it was all Israel oppression. All right, guys, that is all we have, because in about 10 minutes, we are going to be starting movie night in my community. Now, there are several ways to join us for movie night in my supporter Discord. We do movie nights every Sunday night and every Monday night. So if you join the supporter Discord once, you get access to a variety of movie night. We do trivia for the movies. We do music for the movies. And we are going to be watching an amazing movie. Excuse me. We're going to be watching an amazing movie in about 9 minutes, and that movie is Reservoir Dogs. If you have never seen Reservoir Dogs, it is one of the greatest fucking movies ever made. I will die on this hill. Reservoir Dogs is fucking awesome. I haven't seen it in years. I'm really excited to be watching it again. I'm really excited that Jennifer picked it out for movie night tonight. I think it's going to be awesome. And so if you want to come and watch Reservoir Dogs with us in a couple minutes, head over to the Substack, sign up for a membership, and then what you want to do is you want to go to the chat. Now, I'm not going to click. Well, actually, I will click on the chat. Go to the chat, open it on the web. When you open it on the web, if you are a paid subscriber, you will find a link to the supporter Discord. If you are a YouTube channel member, you can join us for movie night. Look for the post in the community tab. If you are a supporter on another platform like Locals or Patreon or Twitter subscriptions, send me a message. I will get you the link to join the Discord. Get into the Discord, tell us where you came from, get verified, come and join us in the VC for movie night, and that's going to be starting in just a couple of minutes. Now, guys, I will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. for my regular stream. And if there's anything going on at the protest facilities, maybe I'll come back later, maybe I won't. But we're going to go watch Reservoir Dogs now, and I'm going to chill out, and I'm going to, just relax, and we're going to enjoy a good night, a movie with the community. So I will catch you guys later, and I hope to see some of you in the Discord. And yeah, guys, that's it. We'll see you.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Could you give me some idea?
I am not completely like other people.
What do you mean by that?
People dislike me because I am not completely like them. I am trying to do with my life something which few people try to do, and this influences my thinking and consequently my action.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.